Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
That's it. Bombs away.
Yes, 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 and yes, Steve Currington. What is crack-a-lackin'?
It's a party, bro.
Brother,
It's a beautiful day.
I'm excited about a great many things today. What I want to do before we get into today's shows, I want to take a time out. I want to take a moment to celebrate great things that are going on in your life and in the lives of the Thrive Nation.
Yes.
And then we'll get into today's show where we're talking about only focus on what you can control.
Right.
So let's think about this. You and I met each other or reconnected with each other about 5.5 years ago.
Yep.
I believe, and if I'm saying something that is defamatory, you can tell me and I'll edit it out later, okay?
Okay.
But I think 7 years ago, you were consuming a lot of adult beverages. Or was it 7 years ago, or how long ago was it?
Well, I mean, it's like we're in 20, so it was like 16 is when I quit drinking. So pretty much any time before that, yes.
Okay. And how often were you consuming alcoholic beverages?
I was really good at it. I was like professional status. So usually I would have anywhere between 4 and 27 Crown Royals, a night.
And how did you realize that it was an issue, or when did you realize, okay, this is a problem?
I went to a conference in Vegas, to a mortgage conference, and I stayed up all night gambling and drinking until like 5 in the morning and didn't get out of my hotel room until 8 p.m. the next day.
8 p.m.
I missed the entire first day of the conference and thought, what in the world am I doing? Why did I pay to fly to Vegas to give the casino $3,000 and get drunk all night and miss the conference?
So at a certain point, though, you realized it was something you had to stop.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I just started working with you, and I guess it was really like December of 15.
Yep.
And then February of 16, I joined TLC, and then it was like June, and I was like, hey, man, I need to focus. I need to I'm rebuilding a new business. I started over.
Yeah.
So I needed to focus, and it was just like I wasn't a raging alcoholic drinking in the morning or anything. I just partied hard, I just did it well.
And
so
why?
I needed to focus.
Why did you do that? What do you think?
I tend to just whatever I do it to the extreme.
Got it.
So if I drink, some people have a beer, I have 14 of them. It's just like I'm like that song, Why Do We Drink? To Get Drunk. So I just have that personality. I'm very addictive. So I had to find a positive vice.
And what has been your positive vice?
Cars.
Cars.
Yeah. So I quit drinking in June 16. I bought my Bentley July 12th of 16. So within like a month. And then the Lambo I bought in March of 17. And so now I get my my highs and my adrenaline rush from driving sober at high rates of speed all over the country and trying not to get arrested.
And I am not saying that I endorse you driving so fast. In fact, I'm going to go on the record of saying I often worry about that because I like you, and I'd hate for something to happen to you while you're driving. But I think it's great that you have stayed sober, and that's awesome. But in addition to that, what's cool is you recognized it was a problem, and you decided to solve it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people, we recognize there's a problem and we don't solve it. That's a thing. It's like, and so as an entrepreneur, all we're doing is solving a problem in exchange for money.
Right.
I mean, that's all we're doing. We're solving a problem for people in exchange for money, right? I mean, that's all we're doing. Now, a lot of people up in the world, up on the planet, around this place. I think the light came unplugged there, maybe by your feet. That's what happened.
I turned it off because it's
okay,
like right
not
in
a
my
problem.
eyes.
But I think a lot of times what happens is people they know there's an issue, and they don't do anything about it, and the only thing that happens is the passage of time happens,
right.
And then we start getting frustrated about things we can't control. We start complaining, giving power to it, and then no one has any success.
Yeah.
So let's go down. Let's walk the clients down the cool wins that you've experienced here in the past 5.5 years.
Okay.
The brand Total Ending Concepts has grown from a startup to correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys did $251 million of mortgages last year, or 250?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yep.
And as a company, now you don't get all the fees, but as a company, you guys make about 1.5% commission on everything.
Right.
That's a lot of commissions.
Right.
You guys are now the highest rated and most reviewed mortgage company in your region in most cases. Am I correct? For sure in Tulsa.
Yeah, I mean, in all the markets that we're in, we're the highest and most reviewed.
You are driving a Lamborghini now, a big goal of yours.
Yep.
And how does it make you feel when you drive that Lamborghini?
I mean, it's pretty bad to the bone. I mean, when you can, I took your favorite Mormon for a ride in it today.
Ben?
Yeah.
Oh no, how did that go?
Ben came up to me and said, "Hey, what would you charge me to like?"
He asked you
in Lambo.
Really?
And I'm like, "Dude, I'd charge you nothing, bro. When do you want to do it?" And he was like, "I don't know, maybe like tomorrow." And I'm like, "Well, I'm here now, so what about now?" He's like, "Okay." So yeah, so it's an adrenaline rush. I can just tell you that. So he said before getting him, while he's in my car, he said, "I think the fastest that I've ever been is maybe like 100. So at the time, I looked down at the speedometer and we were doing 98. So I went ahead and punched it to 105, and I said, "There, you just went the fastest you've ever been in your life." And he was like, "That's cool." And then I took him I think we hit 176 shortly thereafter. Of course, this was on a close course, folks. This was on a track, maybe. So it's an adrenaline rush. You know, it's like I mean, I think there's guys that go skydive because it's adrenaline rush, or they go do some sports activity because it gets their adrenaline pumping. I think whenever you're behind the wheel of a machine with 640 horsepower that's has a top speed of 201, they say, and it's just.
Have you been faster than 201?
Allegedly.
Okay.
I mean, I had to test it. It said it would go 201. What? So
that is crazy.
Go check my Instagram if you want to see the video of that. But I think the speedometer clicked 203. Now, it wasn't GPS, so I don't know for you people out
But
there.
I want to make sure we're getting this. I just want to make sure we're sharing all the wins. There's so many wins here.
Yeah.
You've started your own YouTube channel this year.
Yep.
How old are you?
I'm 40.
You're 40, and at the age of 40, you're kind of living life like a kid, which is what I love. I love this.
Well, because I am.
Well, I want to make sure all the listeners get this, though. That is why I love helping people. I love helping people grow businesses because it allows them to be a kid again.
Yeah.
When they have the time freedom and financial freedom, it allows them to be a kid again. And so this year, you've started your YouTube channel, Lambros. Mm-hmm. How many subscribers does the YouTube channel Lambros now have?
I think we're at about 39,000 is what I'm sitting at right now, 39,000.
How much money does it lose every month?
Oh, my God.
The Lambros.
I think I got a 1099 from Google for about $12,000. And
so you made $12,000 this year
and I
from
probably spent
YouTube.
about $3,000 a month. So I probably lost $25,000.
You lost $25,000 this year.
Not including, I'm not really keeping track of the travel for, and the time that I spent editing videos and all that fun stuff. I just literally what I had to pay in order to promote videos and what I had to pay to have someone help me, learn how to edit in Adobe Premiere and how to make thumbnails and how to upload and hashtag and all the stuff. I had to pay a guy to help me build the channel essentially. And so that cost was probably about $25,000-$30,000.
So a question I would have for the listeners is, do you want to experience a life? Do you want to experience both time and financial freedom? Do you want to live a life like that? If the answer is yes, then you have got to right now, today, get out a sheet of paper and write out your F6 goals. You got to write out your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. Again, someone's trying to write that down. Write down your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your friendship, and your fun. Write down your goals: faith, family, finances, fitness, friendship, fun. And when you write down those goals, Steve, you heard my wife and I talking about it today, earlier today. But today's Wednesday, and so Wednesday means what?
Date night. Date
night, because it's in the calendar. We do it. You might say, Clay, how does this relate to this topic? This is what we want to do, and we don't think about what it costs,
right?
Because we have created a business that allows us to achieve the time freedom and financial freedom needed to do it. Another example today is I lost a bet to John Kelly.
Oh no!
I bet him earlier this year.
Don't tell me you bet someone would make it to the All-Star game.
Oh, I bet that Zion Williamson, the basketball player, that he would make it to the All-Star game. And John said, no, he won't. He'll get injured.
How much money?
Just all it was barbecue.
Oh.
And I lost. So we had to buy barbecue. And you know what? That was fun. But I won a barbecue bet today.
Oh, you did?
Kelly with Master Shredder bet he was going to get 2 Google reviews. Or no, 2 video reviews. And he did not get it. Oh, no.
Oh, you don't want to win that one, though, do you?
So
it's
anyway,
like, gosh.
Yeah. So anyway, so I got some barbecue. So I lost some barbecue, won some barbecue. But the point is, I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Travis, you went with me today to go see the land, the new campus we're building. Describe for the listeners what you saw out there. Was it pretty cool? Describe what you saw.
It was magical. It's a bunch of raw land with a couple sheds on it right now, but they are putting in a road as we speak.
Yeah, they got the trees up going on there. They're putting in the road. Steve, that's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So I want all the listeners out there to live life like a Peter Pan, a life where you just love every day. But we can't do that if we don't take the time to sit down and think about what are our F6 goals. What are our goals for our faith, our family, our finances, our fitness, our friendship, and our fun? Now, once you take the time to write down those goals, now you got to ask yourself, Steve, what does it cost to achieve those goals? You know, and once you know what the goals are, you've got to take the time to write down how much it costs to achieve those goals. And why do you have to do that, Steve?
Well, because it is a sacrifice and it's a trade-off. So if, you can't have on one hand where you say, I want to get to this, but on the other hand say I don't really have time to put in X number of hours to get it done. So you end up setting these lofty goals that you never achieve, which is what most people do. That's why there's the whole joke of the New Year's resolution that everyone has a New Year's resolution that typically ends the day after New Year's, and then they just, it's like a fun exercise to go through that I'm going to go to the gym every day for a day. Woohoo!
Woo!
But they don't, they aren't, and anybody can Google this, and I'm sure you've seen it before, but they're not setting SMART goals that are specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. And so they make like an unrealistic goal, and then when they, what a surprise, don't achieve it, then they kind of lose interest and move on. But I think if you don't have the trade-off where you're going to trade time so that you can get something done, then you'll end up failing.
Yep. And
then, which isn't a problem if you fail. I failed a lot. But I think the problem that most people have is after they fail, they don't get back up. So,
I agree. And so
try again.
We're thinking about, in the past 5.5 years, you've gone from, not having a job and not being sober to being sober to having a job to having a Lamborghini. Where are all the places you've traveled to this year? Just fire off some cities, and every time you fire off a city, I'm going to give you a mega point. So let's go off. Think about all the cities you've been to this year. Let's start with on the West Coast, and then let's go from west to east. If you can picture, where are all the places you've been this year for both work and pleasure? Let's start off on the West Coast of the United States. Where have you gone?
Oh, all around L.A., so Los Angeles, Malibu, Huntington Beach, Newport Beach. All the way down the coast, all the way up the coast to probably Monterey.
You went to Hawaii.
Oh, went to Hawaii. Yeah, I went to Hawaii.
Where else have you gone this year?
That was fun. We went to the Big Island, Hawaii. Then we went to Vegas. I mean, I've been to Vegas a bunch for car rallies. We went to, all the way through Arizona. When you're
Did
you
stop in Phoenix at all, or no?
I didn't stop in Phoenix. I stopped in. Where did we go? We went to Colorado on a rally. We stopped in Burlington, Colorado. A little snowstorm got us caught there. But
you've been to Denver multiple times this year.
Oh, Denver, Colorado Springs.
I think you've been to Texas a few times this year, haven't you?
Oh yeah, been down to Houston, down to Dallas. I mean, gosh, yeah, Kansas,
Missouri. Haven't you been to Florida?
Arkansas,
Florida.
Drove all the way from. Well, I met James in Panama City. Then we drove all the way to Savannah, Georgia. So went all the way through South Carolina, Florida, Destin. I mean, all down the coast where it's warm.
I think you went to Puerto Rico this year.
We actually went to Puerto Rico. Well, it was in 19, but for my 40th birthday, we went to Puerto Rico. Yeah. That was fun.
By the way, I am having a birthday party this year.
Oh, nice.
My house is supposed to be completed in September.
Okay.
That we're, every time my wife and I bought a house, you kind of know my drill. I always buy a house that's undervalued, and then we flip it and we make money, and that's kind of my move. And so for this final house, it's like, okay, you get to design it how you want.
Right.
And the man cave's going to be epic, and we're building the new building. And so anyway, I'm going to have a big party. I have to talk to Charlie Red. We're going to have a big band, hip-hop band, poolside.
Nice.
It's going to be sick.
We're doing next month. We're doing my 41st birthday in the Bahamas. So
Are you really?
Bahamas. And then where I haven't been is New York.
I've
literally never been to New York ever, and kind of sucks.
You know what?
But
you
also
should do?
Paris, France. Went to Paris.
France.
Went to South Africa. Went to Johannesburg and the Cape Town. I went all the way to the furthest point of Africa on the Cape. So you're literally like about as far south as you can go before you hit like Antarctica.
And didn't you also go to London?
Yes. Well, we didn't. We were going to go to London.
We went to Paris.
We were in Paris, and there's a train that goes under the water. We didn't make it on there, but yeah, Paris was fun.
And you had the senior editor for Forbes in your Lamborghini yesterday.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
I mean, so you've gone to a lot of places. You've seen a lot of things. The home that you live in, roughly how many square feet is it? Is it a nice home? Do you live in a shack? Is it a shanty? What is it?
Yeah, it's like 900 square feet in the living room.
Okay, nice. No,
it's 4,800, I think.
Nice house, though, gated community.
Yep.
Your daughter, I believe I think your daughter is driving a Lexus, is what she drives.
Yep.
How old is she?
She's 17.
That makes sense. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening, and somebody out there might be saying,
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
this is a 5.5-year journey, though. You've gone down. And somebody out there today is saying, I'm stuck. Okay, stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, somebody's saying, I have an addictive personality.
Right.
So you can speak to the alcohol part, and I'll focus on the other stuff. How did you get sober? What'd you do? Was it 27 steps, 18 steps? Was it just a decision? What was it?
No, it was one. I just quit.
The decision.
Yeah, I just woke up on
But you could, and you've met people that make it an ism, a disorder.
Yeah, and I don't disagree that it's a disease. I mean, people that are I'm not disagreeing that alcoholism is. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me, it was important enough for me that I just quit. It maybe isn't as easy for some people, but if it's important enough to you and have a big enough why, then you'll quit too. I did have to, abandon a bunch of friends, and I had to quit hanging out with a lot of people that I had to completely change the way that I do business because I used to convince myself that, because the industry that I'm in, you got to go.
Gotta go to the bar and hang out, and I gotta
buy them drinks and all that.
But
stuff.
you can convince yourself of these things. It's possible.
Yeah. So I just had to choose to stop, and then I had to choose to not hang out with people that would encourage me to do that because people are a-holes. They just are. So people that you think are your friends will say things like, "Come on, man, don't be weak. Come on, just have a drink. Come on, really, bro? Really, you quit? Okay, that's funny. Seriously, dude, come on, don't you want to have fun? Hey, don't you want to have fun? Come on, here, have a drink." So what I did for my first 4 or 5 months when I was still hanging out with some of those people is I would go to the bar or go wherever, and I would just get the bartender to make me a Sprite on the rocks with a lime.
Yeah.
So that people wouldn't ask me, just because then I didn't have to have the conversation, because people are like, "Oh, dude, what's wrong, man? Is there a problem? Like, why aren't you drinking? Oh, what's going on?" So I would just go and pretend like I was drinking, because that kept you from having the conversations with the jerks that want to keep you in the. I'd say it, the people that are in the valley, Clay, that are trying to pull you down into the valley with them. They got to grab a hold of your ankles as you're trying to get ahead in life or do whatever. There's always someone that's there to kind of try to bring you down. And so when you're making a life change like that, you just got to kind of fire some people, fire some people in your life.
And I find that what happens is somebody out there is listening right now, and they say, well, what are the steps I need to take this year to be successful? Well, action item number 1 is you've got to fire flaky friends. And we had Michael Levine come speak at the conference, and Michael Levine's the former PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson, and he said, fire flaky friends. That's action step number 1. Steve, why is it so true that when you walk with the wise, you become wise, and when you walk with the idiots, you become an idiot? Why is it so true? Why is that so true? Why?
I don't know why, but people think that they're gonna. Like if you're going through a time in your life where you're trying to like get to a better place and you think that you're in a condition or in a position to help someone else get better, then you're kidding yourself. So I think a lot of people do that. They're like, well, he's my good friend and I want him to do better. Well, what's going to happen is they're going to drag you down, not the other way around. Rarely are you going to pull someone up to your level. They're going to drag you down to their level.
I have never, ever in my life seen any client that I've worked with, and I've worked with hundreds of people, getting close to 1,000 people. I've never seen a client who is sober go to the bar and find their drunken friend and coach them into sobriety, and then they dominate together.
Right.
I've never seen it.
Well, it's because it's never happened, because it doesn't happen. It's not like a real thing. It's an idea or a concept. But when you said, why would you not hang out with wise people, you become wise, because you're seeking growth and you're hanging out with people that are above the level that you're at.
Right.
And I don't think it's a bad thing that if you have the time and if you care about people to mentor someone, but when you're the person that needs the mentoring,
yes,
you're not in a position to go mentor other people. So I would just say, if there's a time in your life where you should be super selfish and not care about anybody but yourself, and be prepared to get some hate from all your friends and because you don't hang out with them or whatever, it's when you're building your business or when you're building a career or when you're trying to, make a difference or change something in life, quit drinking, whatever that thing is, that hot button that you're working on. You've got to be very selfish, and you've got to take care of you, number one, and be not bashful about it, and don't be apologetic about it, and just, hey.
It doesn't have to do with just alcohol.
No,
it could be like if you're a sales guy and you're hanging around a sales guy who's a weak sauce sales guy. Steve, you've seen this. If you're a sales guy and you suck at, if you're a realtor out there, you work with a lot of realtors will come to you for help because you're a mortgage guy. And they say, hey, could you coach me? And you'll see a lot of realtors that suck at sales hanging around realtors that suck at sales. And if you suck at sales and you hang around other realtors that suck at sales, what's the story? What's the narrative? What do they say? What's the excuse for not selling well?
Yeah, there is no excuse. They're just lazy. So it just that lazy people beget lazy people, and then you end up having someone that justifies your weakness instead of pushing you to get better.
There it is.
And they agree with you, which is good because you feel better.
You feel better.
Because you have someone who's agreeable.
There it is.
And that they feel your pain, so to speak, and why can't we get ahead? Why can't we do this? When you really need to be seeking that, like, accountability from someone above you and somebody that's going to push you to the next level, not someone who's just going to agree that life sucks.
So so step number one, fire flaky friends. That's what Michael Levine says. Now let me give you some biblical knowledge that you won't get in college. Proverbs 13:20. Proverbs 13:20 from that controversial book known as the Bible reads, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Now, Reid Hoffman, who's not in the Bible, but he's the co-founder of LinkedIn, he says the fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with people who are already the way you want to be. He says again, the fastest way, Steve, to change yourself is to hang out with people who what? Who are already the way you want to be.
Yeah.
The fastest way to change yourself, this is the founder, the billionaire, the founder of LinkedIn. He says, the fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with people who are already the way you want to be.
Right.
Interesting.
Because I know it is interesting, but people don't get that,
So we hope somebody gets it. Now, Tim Ferriss, the best-selling author of The 4-Hour Work Week, the legendary investor, the podcast host, he says, a person's success in life can usually be measured by the number of uncomfortable conversations he or she is willing to have.
Right.
So an uncomfortable conversation could be, tell the listeners about you and me when we first started working together, the first month or two, and the interesting conversations we had about smartphones.
Oh, yeah.
Tell the listeners about the smartphone conversations.
Well, I don't know if it was a conversation. It was just when my smartphone came out, Clay disappeared. It was more like a magic, like he was a magician. I would look down at my phone. I would look back up, and you would be gone.
Right.
And it took me, I'm a pretty smart guy, so it didn't take me long to figure out, when I pull out my phone, Clay leaves the room.
Right.
Or when I take a phone call, because I was like, I was busy. It was just me trying to close loans, and I was, I'd get a phone call and I'd have to answer it because it was a referral or it was a deal. And then I would look up after I hung up the call and you would be gone. And then I'd be like, where'd Clay go? Like, I don't know. So then I eventually figured out that that was your way of saying, I'm not going to have a meeting with you where you sit on the phone. If you want me to coach you, leave the phone out of the room or put the ringer off or put it up, leave it alone. Otherwise, don't pay me. Don't be here. Because if you can't be here, then you can't be here, and I totally understand that. But if you're going to be here, just be where you are. Don't be on the phone when you're in a meeting.
So action step number 1 is fire flaky friends. Somebody's got that written down. Somebody says, okay, I can move on. I get it. Thank you. All right. Action step number 2, determine how many transactions you need to achieve your goals.
Yep.
How much money do you make per mortgage? If I buy a house today for $100,000, how much goes in your pocket?
About $1,500.
If I buy a house for $200,000, how much goes in your pocket?
About that would be $1,500. What did you say the first number was?
The first number is $100,000.
Yeah, $100,000 would be $1,500. $200,000 would be $3,000. I don't know why I can't do math right now, but I only do this for a living.
Let's say that I get a $300,000 mortgage. How much goes in your pocket?
$4,500.
The average mortgage in Tulsa is the average, home
across the state.
For you guys right now,
for everything is like $175. With the stuff that we do with Shaw Homes, it's closer to about $215, $220.
So let's just do this for a second. Let's say there's the average deal is a $215,000 mortgage, and the commission is
1.5%.
Okay, so times 0.015.
Yep.
So that means your average commission is $3,225 as an example, right? Is that a good ample example?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, the average commission that you're going to see, roughly, just so we're clear, is going to be $3,225. 3,225 per deal. So how many deals do you need to do per year to afford a Lamborghini? I mean, what's the number? What do you need? I mean, Steve, because somebody out there says, I want a Lamborghini too. Okay, so I mean, how much does a Lamborghini cost?
It costs 74 mortgages
to get a Lamborghini.
Yeah, that's $240,000 in commission.
So a Lamborghini, and what kind of Lamborghini? Educate us.
I mean, that's your entry level Lamborghini Huracan, the V10 with the doors that don't go up.
74 transactions.
It's a better car though.
Transactions.
It is, yeah.
Okay, and so you need 74 transactions to do that, and then because your YouTube channel currently loses how much per month? About $2,000 a month.
Right.
You're going to need how many transactions a month to? You need one deal a month,
basically,
just
to cover that. Yeah.
So for a YouTube to have, if you have the goal to start a YouTube channel that loses $2,000 a month,
then you need to add 12 more deals.
Okay, the YouTube channel.
So you need to be like 12 more deals a year for that.
Loses $2,000 per month equals it equals 12 deals per year.
Yep. And then if you want to have a car and food on the table and all that other stuff, you might want to close like another 50 deals because you want to pay. You can't just buy a Lambo with all of your income.
Okay. So now
if you had
I guess you could. You just live in the car.
Yeah, if you
get
had
a gym membership,
50 deals times 32.25 would make you another 160,000.
How many people pull over and take? I mean, when you stop for gas, what percentage of the time does somebody want to take a photo with you and or your car?
Today, on the way here,
yes,
a guy waved me down on Riverside, and I actually pulled into a neighborhood while I was on the phone, and he waved, "Can I get pictures?" And he walked around the car and took pictures. Of course, it's got the Trump wrap on it now, so that's why. But every single time, without fail, every single time that I've ever got gas anywhere ever in the 3 years I've owned that car and the 62,000 miles I've put on it, I've never been to a gas station where someone didn't say, wow, that's cool, or take a picture of it. Ever.
Okay, ever. So, again, action step number 1, if you're going to go out there today and you say, I want to live a dream life. I want to be able to experience time and financial freedom. Action step number 1 is fire flaky friends. Travis, you're shadowing today. You're doing a great job managing an elephant in the room. Do you have any questions about firing flaky friends? Do you have any thoughts, observations, questions, concerns, grievances? Because you're shadowing, you're taking it all in. It's like a fire hose of knowledge. What do you think about this idea of firing flaky friends? Are you down with this idea?
I'm down with it. I agree with it 100%.
Where do people not do this in your mind? What do you think the hard challenge is for these people?
The people that are established in your life for a long time, friends you've had since early childhood, family members.
Yep, there it is. And you know what? I have a suggestion for you if you're out there and you have flaky family members that you want to maintain a relationship with. Schedule family day and just say, hey, every Sunday, that's what I do with my family. It's great. We have my mom's great. You know, we got great people in my family. There are certain people, right? You might not want to see them because they're always dysfunctional. They're always getting somebody pregnant that they're not married to. Steve, you've seen that fun story, right? Mm-hmm. And so you do is you go, you know what I'm talking about, Steve. You've seen this happen.
Yeah.
And it's like there's like a doom cloud of people that'll follow me around, and they're always getting someone pregnant they're not married to. They're always got a problem. They're always going through a drama. They're always getting, and you just go, you know what? Why don't we get together Sundays at 6? And then you just know you're going to have 2 hours of hell every week, right? But the rest of your week goes well.
Most of the people like that can't be consistent anyway, so they probably only show up a third of the time.
That's right.
So
that right there is the thing.
But you still get to be the good person who set it up and made yourself available, and then if they don't show up, then that's on them.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
And if they do show up, like you said, you can go through your 2 hours of hell.
2 hours of hell. There it is.
Hey, guess what?
Your week goes well.
7 o'clock, and I have to get up at 3, so get out of my house.
All right.
But I love you.
I'll be sleeping and not thinking about you while I'm dreaming.
That's right.
Now, okay, so we move on. So action step number 2, determine how many transactions you need to achieve your goals. So I don't care what kind of business you have, if you sell cookies, wedding cakes, you sell cars, you're a dentist, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, how many transactions do you need to achieve your goals? Now, step 3. Steve, this is where people start to, it gets a little rough now, okay? Because there's a difference between entertainment and education, okay? We're not here to entertain. Step 3, you got to determine the daily actions that you need to take. Steve, why do you have to determine the daily actions that you need to take to make the money that you want to make? Why do you have to eventually sit down and determine the number of the actual daily actions that you need to take to make the money you want to make?
Because you're not going to get there magically. I mean, it's not going to be like, well, now I know I got to do 90 deals.
Let's do this. Let's give away all of the secrets for how you are making money with your mortgage company. Let's give away all the secrets. Because you know why we don't care? Well, why we don't care about giving away the secrets?
No one will
They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, our listeners will do it. Now, if you're in the Tulsa area and you're a mortgage guy and you're a listener of ours, we need you to turn off the show.
Yeah, you have to turn off right.
But
but hey, listen, even if you do hear it, that you're actually probably not consistent enough to execute it.
Well, I know, Steve, our listeners are diligent doers. It's other people,
right?
You know, so
you probably have a friend,
right?
You'll want to send them this podcast,
and if they live in the Tulsa area,
I'm not worried about it because I probably already know him, and he's probably a weak ass, so it's cool.
All right, but here are the action items
we
have to take if you want to be successful in the mortgage industry, or again, any industry really, but this is the mortgage industry, okay? Steve, VISM. Say it with me now. VISM. Travis, here we go. VISM. Travis, VISM. Okay, so the V stands for video reviews. Steve, why do you have to gather an objective video review from your real clients each and every day if you are, in fact, going to scale and grow the business to the point where you can buy a Lamborghini? Why do you have to? Walk me through this. Why do you have to get a video review from your real customers? Why?
Because whether you like it or not, Google owns YouTube.
Yep.
And when people search for things, they show organic results and local listings and reviews, and then they show videos. And so if you have a video that's referencing someone who has done business with you, and you put that on the internet, you put it on YouTube, it's probably going to show up. And if you don't have them, it's probably not going to show up. And Clay knows the stat. I know it's something like 90 or plus % of people that buy something read reviews before they do it, and it's even higher if the price is over $500. So if you're selling something like a mortgage, which is a lot more expensive, then you have to have reviews. And video reviews are just becoming more and more relevant every day. So that's why you need video. Also, you know what's cool about video reviews, Clay? You know this. It can't be faked. So if you have like I mean, I guess you could hire an actor or an actress to like say you're awesome and put it on, but it'd be pretty expensive to keep hiring actors and actresses. So you probably just take the people that love you, who you did a good job for, put a camera in front of them and ask them the predetermined questions that you scripted out on your agenda so that you can make sure that the message gets across that you do a good job.
Now, you and I are both Christian guys,
Yep.
but this is where I'm going to upset somebody. I'm going to sneak in a little knowledge bomb here. If I can sneak it in, Steve, are you okay if I sneak it in?
Yeah.
Your path to business success has nothing to do with God.
True.
Because you and I mean, we're Christians, right? I mean, we believe in the Bible, correct?
Yeah.
I'm going, and we have personal, we're not perfect. We each have mistakes. We have things we don't do well.
Well, I mean, you do.
But I mean, seriously, we all have mistakes, right, Steve? I mean,
I personally don't, but
no, I mean, it's other people. But
but
seriously, yeah, I mean, so I'm carrying all the baggage here. But the point is, I don't ever pray about business plans.
Yeah.
I don't sit there. I don't cue up my music and say, "Dear Lord, how do I make money?"
Can you make it?
I've never gone down to the aisle and prayed for success.
Hey, what's that that podcast or sermon that T.D. Jakes did that where he talks about people praying for stuff that they can get on their own?
Yeah, T.D. Jakes is very, very good at this, and he one of his sermons, he talks at great length and breaks it down that basically for you to have success, you don't need to have
stuff that we can do.
Let me cue it up here.
Oh,
This
there
is
it is. Yeah.
Prayer is always
okay. This is T.D. Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes, New York Times bestselling author, pastor of the mega church called the Potter's House. If you don't know who T.D. Jakes is, he's legendary. He's epic. The sermon is called "It's Not for Sale" by Bishop T.D. Jakes. It came out on December 29th of 2019. I'll put a link to it on the show notes. Let me play the audio. Here we go.
society centers around our dreams, all center around money, and it has infected and affected the church till most of the time when you get people coming up for prayer, it's always about money. Our mentality is we need a miracle. I'm believing God for a car. I'm believing God for a house. I'm believing God for a coat. I'm believing God for a house. I'm believing God to send my kids to private school. I hate to tell you this. There are atheists that send their kids to private school. There are drug dealers that have a car. That's not a miracle. You don't need God. You need a good job. You need to come to work. You need to save your money. You can get you a car. You don't need to call on heaven and provoke the angels to get a car. That magical mentality is killing the church. We are asking God for stuff that we can do ourselves. Oh, God, help me.
There it is. I mean, that is the reality of the situation. But you and I mean, this is a linear path. We're teaching you the path. All right? So step one, hopefully somebody's getting this now. We've got to fire flaky friends. You cannot be successful at hanging around idiots.
Correct.
And especially you Christians out there who listen to this show, open the book, Proverbs 13:20, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Stop hanging out with the Wu-Tang Clan. Move on. Step
Unless
2.
you want to be a rapper.
Right.
Then maybe
And
hang out
if
with
the
a
Method
Wu-Tang.
Man's your guy, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Action
We
step number
totally
2,
get it.
determine how many transactions you need to achieve your goals. Steve, isn't it maddening when you have somebody who wants to achieve success, but they can't define for you how much it costs?
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
I'm building a road right now and
It's
a
like an
bridge.
idea.
When you see the land, it's pretty cool. Have you been out there yet? Dude, it's pretty cool. They're building the bridge right now on the road, and a bridge costs money.
Apparently.
And I'm not there at the land. I'm not saying, "Oh, Jesus, bless this land and give me a bridge." I just want a bridge. I suppose I could, and I wouldn't be opposed to Jesus blessing my land, but I don't need. Let's do this. Let's pull up the Forbes list of the richest people in the world. Can we do that? Let's do it. The Forbes wealthiest people right now. Steve, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the Forbes list of the wealthiest people on the planet right now. And number 1 is Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is a man who is Jewish background. You know, he's not a New Testament kind of guy. All I'm saying, he's not a charismatic guy that's praying for abundance and seed faith. Bill Gates is very open about his lack of religiousness, okay?
Yeah.
Warren Buffett. Do you understand that Warren Buffett is a man that was married to the same woman for a long... Have you read his book, Snowball, Steve? Are you aware of Warren Buffett's marital status?
I'm aware of his marital status. I've not read Snowball.
But you're
I don't
aware,
remember. Maybe I listened to it.
You're aware of his marital status?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at a certain point, Warren Buffett decided that, you know what? He says, he went to Susan, his wife Susan. He says, Susan, I like you, and I'm married to you, but I want to have a different girlfriend at the same time. Is that cool? And she says, okay. So he stayed married to Susan while living with Astrid Minks. And you know what? I don't know if that's a biblical idea.
I don't think
I mean,
it is.
He was being biblical with Astrid, if you know what I mean.
It depends on your belief, I guess.
And Larry Ellison, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Mark Zuckerberg, everybody in the top 10, you got to get pretty far into the world's wealthiest people to find somebody who is an outspoken Christian. I mean, you got to get pretty far down that list before. Now, it doesn't mean that God's not real, right? But like, let's think about it this way, Steve. In professional basketball, who's the best player out there? Do you think? You're not a pro sports guy, but I mean,
I don't really watch it, but I would guess that it is. Well, one of them that. Well, he was retired though. Kobe just died, but. I don't know. Like, I don't know who.
All I can say is there's just not a whole lot of you don't see. I love T.D. Jakes, right? I love Joel Osteen. I love these people, but you don't see the world's top 10 wealthiest people. You got to start to get into the teens before you find somebody who's an outspoken Christian.
I was thinking of LeBron James. He's probably maybe considered.
But Steve, think about this for a second. I mean, is LeBron James good at basketball because he's an outspoken Christian? I mean, is that the key?
No, I think it has nothing to do with it.
But why do people want to spiritualize? Once we get into step 2, it's determine how many transactions we need to achieve our goals. Right when we get into step 3, right? Step 3, here it is. Determine the daily action items that you need to take. The daily action steps that you need to take. Determine the daily actions that you need to take to make the amount of money you want to make. Why do people spiritualize this part? Why do they say, yeah, but God told me? And you're not a business coach. You're a mortgage guy. And realtors will say, I want to close more transactions. Could you coach me? And you tell them what to do, and they bring up some religious, spiritual thing. What percentage of the time is an excuse for not doing their homework?
Yeah, I think if you operate your business with your religion out there, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you're proud to be a Christian and you
great.
do your business that way,
we're
that's
excited
great.
for you.
But
that's
just
great,
like T.D. Jakes just said, I agree with him. Too many people are believing for miracles when it doesn't take a miracle. It takes you doing the work and you not being a lazy butt and just trying to think that someone's going to give it to you. And I think that's the mentality of a lot of people. It's not having anything to do with God. It has to do with that's their excuse that
And
week.
then they blame God when they don't have success, when they don't do anything. It's crazy to me.
That's why on my right bicep, underneath my website, it says Proverbs 10:4, which I actually learned this Bible verse from Clay. And it says, lazy hands make for poverty, but a diligent hand brings wealth. And that is what that's about. It's like, if you're lazy, then you're probably going to be in poverty. And if you're diligent,
there it is.
then you'll be wealthy. And that's from the Bible. So if you believe in the Bible and you're a Christian, then you should say, but I think people are just selective on what, and just like T.D. Jakes just said, it's like you're believing for a car, or you're believing for a job, or you're believing for something that God gave you the tools when you were born and raised to get those things on your own.
It would be like me going and looking at the ground and saying, Steve, I don't know why the pine tree's not growing. And you say, well, Clay, did you plant one? Well, no.
I'm believing God will.
I'll believe that God will plant it. Well, Clay, have you sown the seeds? No. Have you tilled the soil, Clay? No. Do you have a shovel? Oh, I got a shovel. Do you have a pine tree that you could plant? Uh-huh.
I think God, whether you believe in God, whatever, it doesn't matter. You believe in God. God isn't going to, like, there's so many things to our omnipotent God to take care of that he's not focusing on filling your gas tank full of gas. But I think people believe that. They're just believing God that he's going to give them the money to be able to get their gas to work.
And it's such a
while they're at work,
right?
They're lazy bums. They don't do what they say they're going to do. They're terrible employees. They create drama. They talk bad about people. They don't live like a Christian. They're literally like the worst employee you ever had. And then when they get fired, they go to church and they go to the altar and they say, I lost my job this week and I'm just believing God for a new job. Well, God gave you a great job and you spoiled it. So that's on you. And you can't just keep praying to God that he's going to give you stuff. That's why I don't give anyone anything. Like, I give to charity. Sure. We just did our donation to the St. Jude home, which was awesome. Love doing that. Yep. But when someone says, hey, do you have $20? No, I don't have $20. No, go get a job, because I don't want to give people that are perfectly capable of getting their own money a path to get it for free.
I've always wanted Brett Favre to say nice things about me or to me. I've always wanted that.
Well, just believe God for it.
And so, rather than like just believing that it's going to happen, I took the high road, and John paid him. So this is Brett Favre here saying nice things to me in exchange for money. Here we go.
Hey, Clay Clark. It's your favorite gunslinger, Brett Favre.
Oh, Brett.
Just reminding you are a great American. I mean great.
There it is.
So keep slinging those Hail Marys. God bless.
Now, John Maxwell, I didn't have to pay John Maxwell to say nice things about me, right? But I had to reach out to him over and over and over to get him on the show. And this is John Maxwell saying nice things.
Hey, Clay, John Maxwell. Great to be with you, my friend. Great to be with you. I love it. You're just like I am. Grab it, grab it, grab it. Sure. We'll do whatever you need, friend, okay?
There's John Maxwell. That's great. Oh, here's Ray Lewis. Now, Ray Lewis, we had to pay him. I'd like to say that Ray Lewis decided to say nice things about me, but
he needs to get paid now.
He needs to get paid. He's no longer playing football yet. Here's Ray.
Clay Clark, what's going on, my man? First of all, this is your favorite NFL player, Ray Lewis, reminding you that you are a great American and a hard-working man.
Oh, thank you, Ray.
Thrive on, my brother. Happy New Year. Many blessings to you. God bless you.
There it is. But I'm just saying, you can, if you're out there today and you want Ray Lewis to say nice stuff to you, you can pay him.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when you build a business big enough, maybe Ray will pay you, or maybe you can hire Ray as an endorser. I don't know. But you got to get video reviews. This is now step 3 now. We're getting into the action steps. Steve, people Google search. Everyone's going to Google search right now. Let's all do a Google search. Let's search for Joplin Gyms. Joplin, Joplin, Gyms, Gyms, Joplin Gyms. And when we Google search Joplin Gyms, who comes up top? Koloff Fitness, so 4,395 reviews.
Well, he's got a competitor there. He's coming up fast with 271. He's only 4,120 away.
And then you've got the 3 video reviews that are all Koloff underneath that. And then you've got their website coming up top. And then you've got their website again coming up. And then if you scroll down, you've got their Facebook feed coming up, and you have their images coming up. All right? Now, Steve, why does Koloff Fitness dominate the Google search results? Why?
I think it's because they're Christians and they've really been believing God for being top in Google.
This is what people have been saying. This is crazy. I talked to a guy. I'm not kidding. I talked to a man.
Isn't it amazing how God's working in their business?
I talked to a man. This is crazy. I spoke to a man at our building just a while ago, and I cannot get any more details. I'll get in trouble. And he said to me, it is so cool that God has given you the gift, Clay, to bless businesses. You have a Midas touch. And I was praying for you. That's what he says. That you would have it, and you have it.
Oh, so is he taking credit?
And I'm saying, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
I literally have just read books written by completely agnostic and or atheist people. One book is called Search Engine for Dummies by Bruce Clay, and you can read it too. The other one is called Get Rich Click by Mark Ostrovsky. I have paid Bruce Clay for coaching. I have paid Gary Grant for search engine coaching. I have paid one of the top search engine firms in the world to teach me how Google works. And I found out that one of their top clients is a pornography website.
Yeah.
And the guy teaching me is like, man, you are one of the best implementers I've ever worked with. I mean, gosh, You're great. And the only other client I can think of that implements like you guys is boop.com. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, you should come out to Vegas and meet the porn girls. They're really nice ladies. They're misunderstood. And I'm like, what? I'm just telling you, like, I'm implementing. These are secular principles. There's no spirituality to it. We just get the most video reviews. If you're out there today and you are losing, just implement the system. Please, I'll be nice. Maybe I'll say it in a Joel Osteen kind of way.
I remember when the Joplin gym had 600 reviews.
You do?
And it has 4,395, and it hasn't been that long.
Dude, I'm telling you, I was so mad at that guy. I'm like, what did you say to me? He goes, I was praying that you'd have the Midas touch, and God's given that to you. And I'm going, just get out of here. Oh.
Listen, and I will tell you this, and I know this about you, so I can just say it for both of us, and correct me if you think I'm misspeaking. But I'm not taking anything from anyone who's actually seen God work in their life. Like something's happened.
Right, we're glad.
There's been a miracle.
We're glad for you.
Or that's awesome. That's great.
You get to make a point.
Yeah. I'm just speaking to the people that are believing for something
while doing nothing.
While doing nothing. That's all I'm saying. It's like certainly there are times in all of our lives when God works in mysterious ways and does things.
Right.
And it's an amazing thing. If you're a Christian, you believe that, great. I do too. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that use that as a crutch. Like they aren't going to work for it. They're not going to like dig deep and try hard and set goals and crush them and do all that. They just are going to believe God for it. And then when it doesn't happen, then they become an atheist and hate God, and they tell everybody how they know the Bible more than anyone, and God failed them, and their XYZ happened, and everybody's got a story of something terrible that happened to them where they're blaming God for it. And when it comes down to it, they don't really have God to blame. They have themselves to blame because that just is. So I'm not taking away from any Christian that has had a wonderful thing happen that was
we are
God-led.
happy for you.
Yes, that's great.
Yes.
But just don't use it as a crutch to where I didn't do my job or I lost my job or this didn't happen because you didn't work, because you're lazy.
There's some people that say that, and I know this, they say this about me, and they say this about you. They'll go, Clay's had a lot of success, but he's kind of an ass.
Right.
And they'll go, Steve Currington has had a lot of success, but he's an ass.
Yeah.
We are not on the show today saying we are great people. I'm just telling you, if you want to have great success, which we are very appreciative of, we have gratitude. We're grateful for it.
Sure.
This is how you do it. So step one, get video reviews every day. Okay, Get a video review. And if you say, how do I name it? How do I do it? Come to a conference. I can teach you. If you're a one-on-one client, I can teach you. If you subscribe to our online school, I can teach you. You got 3 ways. It's $19 a month for the online school. You come to a conference, we can teach you. It's $250 for a conference ticket. If you leave an objective review on Google or on iTunes, you can attend for just $37. Or you can do the one-on-one coaching thing. Now, step 2, you've got to add an image to your website. We talked about this, Travis. You hear me in the meetings talking about this. For Elephant in the Room, you're one of the managers. What kind of images do you guys add to the Google map each and every week?
We're each responsible for getting 10 photos in the shop each week.
Yep.
While it's busy.
We have to do it. And you just have to do it. You do it. It works. We knock it out. It gets done. But you got to do it. And is it hard to get video reviews? I mean, honestly, is it a little challenging to do it?
Yeah, it's a little challenging, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
There it is. All right. Now, step number 3, you've got to add at least 500 words of content to your website every day. And, Travis, you've worked on the search engine team. What's the hard part about writing 500 words of content every day? What's the most difficult part about that? When you're writing content for clients, what's the most challenging part of that?
It's very repetitive. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it has a huge impact.
But you have to do it. It might not be the most exciting thing, but you have to do it. And I think somebody out there is saying, I know I need to do it, but I don't. It's not the fun though. And I just encourage you, if you once you know what to do, it's on you to do it. You've got to implement the thing. Okay, you got to implement the thing. Now, step 4 here under these activities is you've got to gather Google reviews, objective reviews from your real clients. Travis, why can't you go on Fiverr and pay random people? Why do you have to get real customers to leave real reviews? Why is that a thing?
Because Google's going to catch on at some point if they're not authentic.
Right. That's what it is. That's what it is. Now, the next step, if you want to be a high-paid mortgage banker, is you got to make a Dream 100 list. Now, a Dream 100 list is a list of the ideal and likely buyers that you want to refer people to your business. You got to make a list of the 100 ideal and likely buyers that you want to refer to your business. Steve and I sat down in a room. We talked about it, and Steve, you wanted to get you wanted Shaw Homes and some of the top realtors in Tulsa to start referring you deals. You wanted Shaw Homes to refer you deals, and you wanted some of the top realtors to refer you deals.
Right.
How long did it take for you to convince Shaw Homes to refer you deals? They're a home builder. You're a mortgage person. You want the home builder to refer you their clients for mortgages. How long did it take for them to refer you?
3.5 years.
Why? Why did it happen overnight? Why did they just immediately start referring you?
Because they already had 3 preferred lenders. They didn't need to add another one just because I wanted to do business with them.
Right.
And they're pretty selective on who they let in. So it turns out that a lot of guys ask, and a lot of guys get told to kick rocks, and then they don't ever come back.
Did I tell you about Burj Najarian? Did I show you the email today from Burj? Burj is Bill Belichick's personal assistant. And I tried to get Burj to book Bill today. And this is my email. The subject line says, 6th time the charm, ? And I've said, hey, Burj, I wanted to send out our annual invite to get Coach Bill Belichick on the show. Let me know what I could do to make this happen. And we wait. And Burj says, thank you for the opportunity, but we're going to pass. And I get rejected all the time from Burj Najarian. But it doesn't bother me. And it doesn't bother me because I know it's part of the process. And eventually, I believe that I'll get Bill Belichick on the show. But maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. Some will, some won't. Some will, some won't. But who cares? Travis, I'm sure you've seen people that get all hung up when they get rejected. How have you've learned sales at Elephant in the Room. When someone rejects you, how have you learned to get over that? Like, what's kind of the self-talk? What have you taught yourself, or what have you told yourself, or how have you got over the mental block of dealing with rejection?
Just get ready for the next one.
That's it?
Yeah.
And you just have to keep doing it. You just gotta keep going. You can't stop. Now, the next thing you have to do if you want to build a multi-million-dollar mortgage company so that you can buy a Lamborghini and a nice house and have time freedom and financial freedom is you got to run those retargeting ads. Now, retargeting advertisements are those ads that follow you around the internet. They're the advertisements that once you've been to a website, the ads begin to follow you all around to every other website you've been to. And the website that the company that I'd recommend that you use is a company called AdRoll. And you might say, well, why do you recommend AdRoll? I recommend AdRoll because they are the world's best at running retargeting ads. And there's all sorts of data. You can read the book called The Retargeting Playbook that explains this to you. But when people go to your website, you've got to make sure that your retargeting ads follow them all around the internet because the average person has to see your advertisements 4.7 times before they convert. Now, the next step for becoming a multi-million-dollar mortgage professional is you've got to run Facebook advertisements. Now, you might say, why? Well, it's because people are on Facebook. It turns out, according to Nielsen, the average person spends 11.3 hours per day on their phone consuming media. 11.3 hours per day. Travis, does that blow your mind when you stop and consider the average person spends 11.3 hours per day on their phone consuming media?
Absolutely amazing.
Do you know people that do this?
I know a lot of people that do that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Do you spend 11.3 hours per day on social media?
Not even close.
Why?
I don't have time to spend 11 point whatever hours on social media a day.
Interesting. Okay. So then the next move is you got to run those Facebook advertisements. Now, Facebook advertisements, again, you got to run those because that's where the ideal and likely buyers are. Steve runs those because the people who are looking to buy a home oftentimes go on Facebook for cathartic reasons, for entertainment, to quote-unquote stay informed. The point is they're on Facebook, so you've got to run those advertisements. Now, YouTube has advertisements too. And YouTube is an awesome place to run ads because Google owns YouTube. Again, Google owns YouTube. So when you are on YouTube, Google is going to show you advertisements that relate to what you were searching for in Google. So if you're on Google searching for plan a cruise, take the family on a cruise, when you go to YouTube, you'll start seeing commercials about cruises and planning a cruise. So again, the YouTube commercials are shown to you based upon what you're searching for in the Google search results. Now, once you have this going, once you have those are daily activities you're doing every day. You're doing those daily activities every day. Now, the next step is you got to have these certain weekly activities. There's daily and then there's weekly activities. The weekly activities that you have to do each and every week is, one, you've got to have a weekly sales training meeting. You've got to have a weekly sales training meeting. And you might say, why do I have to have a weekly sales training meeting? And if I have a weekly sales training meeting, what do I need to do during that meeting? Again, you might say, why do I have to have a weekly sales training meeting? But then you also might be saying, what do I need to do in that weekly sales training meeting? Steve, why do you have to have a weekly sales training meeting with your staff?
Well, for me, it gives me an opportunity to get in front of the team when we're not in the hustle bustle of the work, which tends to be pretty busy. And it gives us an opportunity to just mark off an hour and focus on things that maybe are going well. I always try to share some wins when we're in there to keep people pumped up, and then cover any issues or any system changes or any new things that are happening or things that need to get out to the team. So that they have information that they need. And otherwise, if you're not meeting with your team on a regular basis, people tend to drift.
That's it.
You just can't keep them. Like, if you talk to someone today and they're like, my goal today is I'm going to close 75 loans this month. And
75 loans.
75 loans this year. And then you get to December and you're like, hey, I know we talked in January and you were going to do so. How you doing? Like,
How you
only
doing?
closed 20.
Oh.
Well, maybe because we didn't talk. So it's just a matter of having an agenda, making sure you're going through those items, making sure that you're holding the team accountable.
Travis, have you been into our Tuesday sales meetings before?
I haven't gotten to sit on Tuesday sales meeting yet.
Okay. Well, in those meetings, we play the recorded calls from the calls the team made that week. Steve, why do I play the recorded calls and actually role play in that meeting? Why would I gather the entire sales team, not just one-on-one people? Why would I gather the entire team? There's 15 or 20 people in there. And then why would I play their calls in front of everybody? Why would we actually do a training where we played the calls and watched the game film and listened to the actual calls of our actual salespeople? Why would we do that?
Because every single week you find that someone's not following the script. That's why. Because every week there's someone that's like, I just haven't been getting the results. My numbers are not. And then you listen to their calls and realize that they woke up on a Wednesday and went way off in left field and decided to, one time I got some success by saying this. And so now I've implemented it into the script when I shouldn't have. And it just keeps people accountable too, because they know that their calls are going to get listened to. So they tend to follow the script more because they know that you're going to listen to it. And the other thing is, if they aren't following the script, then it gets outed in front of the whole team, and it happens on a weekly basis. So you rarely have anything that can grow legs, because it's like you might have an issue one week, but since you're listening to the calls every week, you can take care of that issue before it becomes a problem.
And this week we pulled the calls, and I found out Madison is killing the phone calls, doing a great job. Awesome.
Yeah.
I found out her calls are incredible. I thought she was good, but they were great.
Right.
Tim's calls are amazing. Tim with Elephant in the Room, his calls are great. Daisy's calls are incredible. Julia is smashing her calls.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great week, but I found one guy.
Who sucked? Who was it?
Oh, Steve, it's a podcast. Hundreds of thousands of people listening. I can't do that.
It was Jonathan Kelly, wasn't it?
No. But we're not gonna call people out on the podcast like that. Now, then we have every week. You got to have a weekly group interview. See, Steve, you've watched me do this for years, 5.5 years. Why do we have a group interview every single week? Why do I never stop doing the group interview?
People are great until they're not. That's why, because employees are great until they're not.
How many times have you watched somebody on our graphic design team who was good all of a sudden get bad?
I mean, Dee's been there for a long time.
Dee's a pillar of excellence.
But I don't know any of the graphic design. Well, I know
Johnny's starting to. Johnny's been with us for. Johnny's about 2 years in, I think. 2 years in the game.
But I just quit remembering, not in like a mean and rude way.
Well, it's an emotional thing. It's like if you have like a pet, if you have pet chickens.
Yeah, and then
every night
dies.
they get eaten. Well, if every night one got eaten by a wolf.
Yeah,
you'd kind of be like.
Yeah. So you kind of like get to know them the more they stick to it. And so I know Johnny, because he's been around, but there's a couple graphic designers over there that I've never spoken to. I don't know their names.
it's
Because I don't want to
because-
know their names because they might not be there.
And,
if
and
they
what
suck.
happens? And what happens a lot of times for graphic designers, this is what happens. They'll say, "I know I've been with you for 3.5 years. What's my path? What's my path for growth?" And you go, "Well, we have 160 clients, as previously stated when you joined the team, and I'm not going to ever grow to more than that many clients unless I have coaches that emerge that have the skill. Because I'm not going to grow the company at the expense of a client.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to have incompetent coaches running around, just to. I mean, I'd rather turn down a bunch of clients than to have clients that are not being taken care of. You
Right.
know, and they're like, "Well, I don't want to coach." Okay, so as previously stated, then we're not going to grow. See, there's no upward mobility.
Right.
Well, can I be the assistant manager? Well, there's only 4 of you over there, so I don't know what you'd be doing. Well, can I be
the assistant district manager?
Yeah, and then people want the title. I'm not going to do that. But Steve, I'm sure you've seen a lot of small community banks where everyone's a vice president.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, everyone's a vice president.
That's every bank, dude. Like, well, you're a vice president. Imagine that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So now we got to do the weekly group interview because when people move on, they move on. And according to Forbes, the average person is going to stick at a job for 2 to 3 years. So it's
Which is even less now with the millennials that have entered. I mean, what's the average time? Is like 8 months or something. Now.
People just do not stick around the way they used to. Now, the weekly accounting financing meeting. Why, Steve, does my wife come to the building every day and look at the numbers? Why? Every freaking day she looks at the numbers. Why? Why?
Because if you don't know your numbers, you could just be losing money and wake up one day and you're broke. So you got to watch it. Plus, I mean, nobody that works at Thrive now, but people are thieves and they steal.
They do.
And they steal time. They
take
submit.
things.
Maybe might submit a time card that's incorrect.
Travis,
Maybe
you've been managing people for a while. I don't want you to mention any names, but have you caught anybody playing games with their hours or stealing things? Have you caught anything yet, or not so much so far?
I've caught a few.
You caught a few. And is it awkward when you mention it to somebody? Do they accept it well, or do they freak out when you call them out on it? How does that go over?
It's awkward every time.
So what kind of stuff do you say? What's your motivational phrase that you say when you catch somebody lying about their hours or stealing?
They usually try and argue with you.
So walk us through it, kind of role play. What do you say? You're like, hey, how do you get into it? What do you say?
Well, you just bring it up. You kind of had to be a little bit blunt about it. You say, hey, this is what the time clock shows, and here's reality. This is what you are here for.
And then what happens?
They try and argue with you and tell you they were actually there, or that it was a unintentional mistake.
Oh.
Of a 10, 20-hour discrepancy.
And
their
usually
hours.
people don't lie short on their hours, Steve. People
Right.
usually aren't like, hey, I forgot to turn in half my hours.
Dang
It's
it,
usually
it
they
turns
double
out I
them.
worked 40 hours that week, and I only put 20.
So you got to look at the numbers every single week. Now, step 4 underneath this, these are things you have to do every week here as it relates to these weekly meetings. You got to have every day. It's like a daily meta time, and a weekly all staff meeting. Steve, why do you have to have a weekly all staff meeting? Why do I have a weekly all staff meeting every single week? Every single week.
Same reason you have the sales meeting, because
Why?
people drift. And because you want to have a regular time that you meet with your team so you can go over issues, you can go over changes, you can go over, policy stuff.
There it
There's
is.
Things that come up like
Come on.
insurance and
Come on.
401ks
Yes.
and like
Yes.
crap going on in the office. Or
That's
like,
right.
You have to address those things.
You got to.
On a weekly basis. Otherwise, sometimes when you don't address something, it literally it's a little tiny thing that ends up being a big giant bad thing.
Yep.
And it's because you're not meeting weekly, and there's some things that I don't know why. I have over the years had a lot of really good team members, but it's weird how people interact within the office because they don't want to be the narc, or they don't want to get in trouble, or they don't want to
get that
cause
at all.
controversy or whatever. And then these things, they're like they grow legs, and then they become a problem.
I remember well over a decade ago, I had a guy on our team who was in charge of doing some financial stuff. And this is how it goes, Steve. He says, do we need to meet this week? I mean, pretty much we go over the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah. So we have a set meeting time, and he plays that game. The next week, he's like, I don't have the numbers ready, but I can just email it to you. Then the next week, and it gets drifting. So about the third weekend, I said, listen, I'm going to wait here for you to pull the financials, but we're not leaving until we go over the numbers.
Yeah.
This is what this little weasel did. During that window of time, he set up a company card in his name through American Express and put a bunch of expenses on it to cover up the fact that he overspent in a certain area, so the budget would look consistent. You know what I mean? So the cash in the bank would look consistent. I found out this idiot ordered $10,000 plus. It was closer to $20,000 of ink, toner for laser printers.
Oh, yeah.
In advance.
Because he got a discount.
Because he got a discount.
Right.
And so what he wanted to do.
Saw that coming.
Yeah. And this moron decided to order water delivery to an office where we clearly don't need water delivered. Steve. I mean, this guy was ordering bulk water. So in the office, we have a water dispenser where you hit the button and the water comes out purified. People are waiting. They're like, I don't have any water. Do you have any water? No. It's like a water crisis. It's like we're in the Middle East or something. And I'm like, what's going on? Why don't we just go into the water machine? Well, the water thing, the water purifier. Oh, he unplugged it and got a weekly water delivery because he thought it was better. This is the kind of crap people do. And why do they do it? It's because they want to put their little signature on it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then the political thing gets going. It gets weird. Now, the next move, action item number 4. You got to increase. If you want to have a year where you have explosive financial success, you got to focus on increasing the number of transactions you're doing. You got to focus on that, okay? And so you can't be focusing on things you can't control. You can't be talking about the DNC Las Vegas convention that's going on tonight. You can't be and Steve, why do the people who are not successful always want to focus on religion, politics, the weather, climate control, recycling, predestination, free will? Why do they want to talk about that kind of crap? Why are the least successful people the most focused on crap that doesn't matter?
Because they don't want to focus on the fact that they're weak and they're not hitting their goals because of their own laziness. They want to focus on all the things that they can claim are stopping them from doing it, like the economy or this president or my employer's limiting me or whatever. They don't want to they don't want to focus on the real problem, which is that, the problem's them. So instead, they focus on, complaining.
So let's talk about some big ideas here. According to Forbes, 90% of consumers said that they read reviews for local businesses before buying from them. Steve,
right?
Shouldn't we probably focus on getting reviews if 90% of consumers said that they read reviews for local businesses?
Yeah. So, funny story, I was with another business owner and that I do business with, and he was on the phone with not really one of our competitors, but another lender that's in town.
Yeah.
And while he was on the phone, they were bashing me and my company.
Your competitor?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they're really not my competitor, but they're in the business. So he pulled up their reviews and he said, well, you guys have like 6 reviews and you have a 3.4 rating. And this guy said, yeah, we don't really do that Google thing. Like we don't do the Google thing. The only reason I wish that he wouldn't have said anything to him is because since then he's got like 20 reviews or something, which I know he'll lose interest and it won't matter. But
when somebody says they're not really into that whole Google thing, I always want to say,
surely you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
People who are not into that Google thing remind me a lot of Steve Martin's character from the movie The Jerk. Steve, have you seen The Jerk?
Huh.
The Jerk is a movie starring Steve Martin that came out like late 70s, I believe. And you haven't seen the movie?
No.
Dude, you'd love this movie. Steve Martin, okay, the premise is he's impossibly dumb. And Steve gets excited about stuff that doesn't matter. And that's all he's into is stuff that doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Okay. And somehow, through serendipity, he gets rich, but he loses it all because he's an idiot. Okay?
Right.
So this is the scene. Steve, I'm going to show the scene to you. He is working at a gas station, and his name is Navin Johnson, okay? And Steve, I'm going to play this for you. You can see on the big screen here. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm queuing it up here. And Travis, have you seen this movie before?
I have not.
Okay. So here's the deal, Steve. He is working at a gas station, and the phone books arrive. And he recognizes that this is going to be the first year that he's in the phone book. Okay. Because he registered the gas station as his home address. He lives at the gas station to save money. So let me this is his reaction to seeing the phone books arrive. Here we go.
Thank you. I wish I could get that excited about
Nothing? Are you kidding? Page 73, Johnson, Maven, R. I'm somebody now. Millions of people look at this book every day. This is the kind of spontaneous publicity, your name in print, that makes people.
Spontaneous publicity.
I'm in print. Things are going to start happening to me now.
It's just like, I see people all the time who that's how they view the world. Mm-hmm. They're thinking that because they have a great business idea or a great book idea, all of a sudden it's going to sell well. Homies, listen, I had this idea. John and I had this idea. We've been working on this idea for this book called The Mastermind Manuscripts for 7 years, folks. 7. Here's the idea, Steve. Here's the premise of it. Let's get the world's most successful people all in one book.
That should only take a couple days.
Teaching you the specific things they know. That's the idea.
Right.
Okay. So what if you had the world's most successful people all in one book, teaching you their proven processes, their success strategies that actually work. So it's like John Maxwell, the world's #1 leadership guy, teaches you leadership.
You're not going to be able to get him for that book.
Bruce Clay, the world's #1 search engine optimization expert, teaching you search engines. We're going to get all of them in one book. We're going to get Guy Kawasaki, one of the world's top venture capitalists, talking to you about venture capital, all in one book.
Impossible.
Sharon Lechter, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She's the lady who actually wrote that book with Robert Kiyosaki, but she really wrote most of the book. She, in the book, teaching about personal financial literacy, all in the book. The world's top PR guy, Michael Levine, teaching public relations, all in one book. The thing has taken 7 years. And Steve, why does it take 7 years? 7 years, dude. I think it's like a biblical story at this point. Why is it
probably had to write it all as if you had their endorsement and then get their endorsement, because you can't really get their endorsement on a idea of what you think you might write.
So step 1, I had to reach out to all these people and get them in the book. That was really hard to do. Yeah. Step 2, I had to record 2,000 podcasts en route to getting these people.
Yeah.
Step 3, I had to find a literary agent of note.
Yeah.
Steve, why can't I just get some local hack to represent the book?
I offered.
Why did I have to go out and get Foundry Media, the literary agency for The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, the literary agency for the Chris Kyle book, the literary agency that represents the Stan Lee, the comic genius, the Marvel guy? They represent Stan Lee, the comic genius's works. These guys represent the Badass book series by Jen Sincero. Why, Steve, did I have to go out there and land a mega agent to get this book done?
Because you had to have somebody that had some clout, that had that had the connections, that had the ability to, because otherwise you're just Clay Clark with your podcast.
And honestly, I'm in Oklahoma and I'm not famous yet.
Yeah.
So, I have to go. It's a process.
Yeah.
So you've got to reach out to these people, work through the rejection. It is a process, folks. So you've got to focus right now on the things that are going to increase the number of transactions. And I've just told you what those are. VISM, video reviews, images on your website, search engine content every day, and getting more reviews. It's not a spiritual thing. That's how it works. 90.8% of people are using the internet to find the products and services they're looking for. Everybody is going on the internet superhighway to find stuff. Be where they're searching.
I don't really do the Google thing.
It's unbelievable.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
All right. So now after you have done this, okay, action step number 5, we move on to action step number 6. Action step number 6. Now, action step number 5. Now, action step number 5 is you got to increase the average ticket price. Steve.
Yep.
We see so many entrepreneurs that won't raise prices.
Right.
Because they're emotional about it.
They're afraid.
They're just like, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to borrow. I don't want to bother my customers. I don't want to raise prices. Right. Have you bought gas recently?
Yes, and I'm thankful and blessed to know that gas prices have stayed the same since the 80s. So thank you.
Travis, you have kids, right? 1 kid, 2 kids?
I've got 2 kids.
Do you feed your kids?
Most of the time.
This just in. Travis feeds his kids. Good job. Good job. So when you go out there and you feed your kids, do you have to buy groceries at the store, or can you just go in there and pay with feelings of success and ideas? Do you have to use actual currency to buy groceries?
Unfortunately, yes.
How much does yogurt cost?
No idea.
Hey, what is this? The Price is Right?
How much does yogurt cost, Steve? How much does yogurt cost?
I have no idea. I mean, ask Sally. She's the grocer.
Well, it used to
like
be
a couple bucks, probably.
It used to be, though, yogurt used to be 4 for $1 when I was going to college. 4 yogurts for $1 back when I went to college. That's what the price was. Steve, it was a good price.
Yep.
But now it's about $1 for the cheap yogurt. It's about 75 cents per yogurt for the cheap stuff now. And for the more expensive stuff, it's like up to $2 a yogurt. Now, Steve, if we're going to go out there and actually buy yogurt, we're going to have to pay the current price. And did Walmart or Mr. Target or Mr. Walmart or Mr. Whole Foods, did they ask us before raising the prices? No. Steve, why did they raise the prices on yogurt?
I don't know, but I just learned something about yogurt because I started to look up the price.
Yes.
And it turns out it's 65 cents for like this kind of Yoplait, right? But they advertise,
and that's before taxes.
You're gonna love this.
Yeah.
You're gonna absolutely love this. It's actually Yoplait Original Strawberry Yogurt, 6 ounces, adult, unisex. That's what the ad says, I swear to God.
Adult unisex?
It's like literally, it's literally unisex. So like if your wife wanted to eat it, she could eat it.
That is great.
If you identify as a woman or anyone, like it's unisex. It's like a Starbucks bathroom. Like that's the Yoplait nowadays. But it's 69 cents when you probably could have got it. It's doubled. It's more than doubled.
So you're saying if you're a man who has a plan to hide your package, you could still buy a package of yogurt?
That's true. You could because it's adult unisex. And
if you're a man, so you're saying if you're a man who loves a woman, you could buy this yogurt. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and if you were a kid, then you couldn't because it's for adults.
Adult. But what if you were a man that loves another man? Could you buy this yogurt?
Yeah, because it's unisex.
What if you're a woman who loves a man? Could you buy this yogurt?
You can do whatever you want, man.
What if you're a woman who loves another woman? Could you buy this yogurt?
It's for all sexualities.
What if you're a woman who changes, you have some surgeries to change your gender from a woman to a man, and then now you're a woman man? You're transgender, you've transitioned, you're now a man, you're like what was the guy, Kris Jenner? You've switched teams now.
Yeah.
And so, but you want to date a woman. Have you seen that move where a woman becomes a man and then dates a woman again?
Yeah.
Could you still buy the yogurt?
Yes.
This is good. This is good.
You could consume it too. I mean,
this is good to know. For a moment there, I wasn't sure if I'd be discriminated against when buying the.
I just can't believe. Like, I want to take a picture of this so you can put it on the show notes. It says it's in store at Target.
No.
Yoplait Original Strawberry Yogurt,
Thank
6
you.
ounces, adult, unisex.
Thank
so
you.
anyway, the point is it's 69 cents.
Is it really?
It is 69 cents. And
Sure it is.
Is funny for a whole other reason, but which is more than double your 4 for $1.
As I get it back together, I'm going to play Beer Barrel Polka just for a second. I got to get it back together here. I'm having a moment here, folks. Just the profundity of this moment truly is overwhelming. Okay, so again, you got to raise your ticket price. You can't. I mean, you don't see Target losing money on every sale so they don't upset a customer. You got to raise your price. If you want to be a big business, you got to act like a big boy or a big girl or a big transvestite and raise your freaking prices. You've got to raise your prices. Raise your prices. Raise your prices. Now, sometimes people say, I don't want to do the thing I need to do. Let me give you an example about this. This is in the book Checklist Manifesto. I'm going to give you an example. Steve, tell me what I want you to think hard about this idea.
Okay.
Atul Gawande, who's a Harvard professor and a surgeon, he said to the Michigan ICU, the intensive care unit, he said, you need to use checklists. And they said, we don't want to use checklists.
We'd rather people die.
So he checked the data. This is a true story. You can read this in the book, the Checklist Manifesto. I'm quoting.
What's the guy's name?
Atul, Atul, Gawande, Gawande.
I have actually a lot in common with him.
You're both a tool?
Yes.
Oh.
Why do you need a tool when you are a tool?
Listen, no disrespect to Atul Gawande, but a lot of disrespect to you.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you. I am a tool.
Atul Gawande says, guys, you should use a checklist.
Hey, do you think when he tells people, he's like, hey, I am a tool?
Gawande.
Like, I'm sorry. Back to the
Okay.
show. Back to the show, folks.
This just in. Okay. So what happens is Atul Gawande, he says, listen, you guys in Michigan at the intensive care unit, you guys need to use checklists. And they say, we need to use checklists? He says, yeah. And they say, we don't want to. He said, why not? They said, we don't like checklists. You know, we're not into them. We don't want to be micromanaged. Whatever they said. I don't know. This is the real data. He found those homeboys killed 1,500 people in 18 months. True story. 1,500 people in 18 months. 1,500 people in 18 months. Now, let me break this down and make this really profound for you. If you take 18 months, and the average month, let's say, has 30 days in that month, okay? So this is 540 days. 540 days, 1,500 people, 540 days. These homeboys killed 2.7 people per day because they didn't want to use a checklist. So he says, hey, maybe we should use checklists. And these ass clowns finally decided, they said, okay, you know what? We're going to use a checklist.
You know what you should do if you get sick is not go to the hospital. That's what that tells me. It's like,
no, I mean, seriously.
Hey, I would like to die, so I have come to the hospital. Will you please screw up?
I am going to read to you actual notable quotables from the book, Checklist Manifesto, and an article that appeared in the Huffington Post. Let me read the article to you. It says this. It says, and I put all this on the show notes. I put a link to all this. It blows my mind. It says, when the state of Michigan began using a checklist for central lines, that's like if you need like an IV, that kind of thing. When the state of Michigan began using a checklist for central lines in its intensive care units, its infection rates plummeted by 66% in just 3 months. Soon, its intensive care units were outperforming 90% of all hospitals nationwide. In 18 months, the checklists saved $175 million and 1,500 lives. What? We continue. It reads here.
This is where people would say, I can't even.
The major, this is the Huffington Post, the article. Again, it says.
Which, by the way, I know they're a big news source, but you are fake news, HuffPost.
You don't like
that's
Huffington?
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, well,
Trump would say that.
Okay, well,
you are fake news.
Atul Gawande is a professor at Harvard.
He
can I read?
Did write it.
Can I read to you something about Atul Gawande, just so everybody understands how profound this guy is? Because I know a lot of people don't read a lot about Atul Gawande, but you should. Let's just say, who is this guy for a second, okay? Atul Gawande is an MD, MPH. He's the CEO of Haven, okay? Haven is the Amazon and Berkshire Hathaway, J.P. Morgan Chase-backed healthcare venture and a globally recognized surgeon, writer, and public health leader. For more than 20 years, he's been a surgeon at the Brigham and Women's Hospital and a professor at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. Listen, folks, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, the world's most successful company, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, and J.P. Morgan have appointed him to be the CEO of their healthcare venture that's changing the world.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. Let me continue reading. It says here.
He's kind of a big deal.
He's kind of a big deal. This just it. He says, again, this is from the Huffington Post article. It reads, major surgical complications in all 8 hospitals fell by 36%. Infection and death rates dropped by half. Equally important, the healthcare providers involved came to believe in the power of the checklist. Really? Equally important. Equally important.
It said many had started out suspecting that it was just another bureaucratic distraction from the real business of caring for patients. That was there.
What? Equally important, the healthcare providers involved came to believe in the power of checklists. Many had started out suspecting that it was just another bureaucratic distraction from the real business of caring for both patients. 3 months later, 78% of participants said they'd personally seen the checklist prevent an error in the operating room. Yep. 80% said that it improved patient care. And over 90% said that what I, as a reader, had decided by this point, too. If I ever wind up on the operating table, please use the checklist.
Exactly.
Unbelievable. I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get, Steve, I want to get it. I want to understand. I want to kind of get into the mindset maybe so I can help better educate. But what makes somebody not want to use a proven system? Why would somebody not want to use a proven system?
It's not that they don't want to use it. It's just people are lazy. So, and if you don't hold them accountable, it's just like people are inherently lazy. Everything moves to disorder. So
what happens is, so action item number 5, increase the average ticket price. You've got to do it. You say, yeah, but I know I need to do it. I know I need to use a checklist, but I don't want to. Well, you're killing a lot of people. Okay, but still, I don't want to. I don't want to be micromanaged. I don't want to. Okay, so again, we talk about this. Raise the prices. Do it.
Yep.
Action item number 6.
You probably ought to get some customers first, and that's why it's higher on that list. Action item is that people try to raise the prices before they have something worth charging for.
Action item number 6. Guy Kawasaki, the venture capitalist, the former key Apple employee, the best-selling author, says, top of mind awareness is the holy grail of marketing. Top of mind awareness is the holy grail of marketing. Action item number 6, increase the frequency of use. Steve, I tell people all the time, listen, every month we get a text message in the office from Domino's or Papa John's saying, or Jimmy John's, Papa John's, whatever. The Jimmy John's is the sandwich people, Papa John's, the pizza people. Yep. Domino's, they say, are you hungry? Today we have a special. And you see Domino's pizzas all over the office.
Yeah.
But then you tell it to a small business owner, hey, listen, buddy, the average person refinances their mortgage every 3 years, right, Steve? About every 3 years they refinance or they buy a new house every 3 years.
Yep.
Maybe you should send a text message to all of your former to all your former clients that says, hey, you need a loan? Hey, looking to get a loan? Right now, rates are at, what are the rates at today, roughly, as of today's?
3.625, 3.75.
And just texting that out, people then call. I mean, Steve, people see you all the time on Facebook or on social media. They see you, and it reminds them, hey, that's the mortgage guy. Do you not get a lot of deals from top-of-mind awareness?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
John Kelly's used you, I think, 3 times now.
Yeah, he's my best customer ever.
So
he actually is attempting to decrease that 3 years down to a year and a half for the industry.
John Kelly, my partner, this guy has built 2 houses in the past
I love him.
2 years.
He's actually like one of the nicest and smartest people I've ever met, and I hope he buys another house in another year and a half. But this one's his forever home, just like the last one.
Increase the frequency of use. Action item number 6.
This is why I love John, because he frequently uses me for a mortgage.
Do you know what OxyFresh.com does all the time?
Yeah.
Twice per month. They're going to send you out an email that says, do you need to get your carpet cleaned?
Yep.
And why would they do that?
So that their company is then top of mind.
That's how it works.
Whenever you do have the dog pee on the carpet or you have a spill or something, that you call them.
Now, after we walk you through all of these action items, Travis has a few business coaching questions he's going to ask because he's been shadowing me today, so we're going to let him ask any questions. But action item number 6, you've got to increase the frequency of use. You've got to increase the frequency of purchase. And somebody says, but I don't want to bother my customers. I don't want to send them a text message. I don't want to send them an email. I do not want to call them and follow up. And you're going, did you just say something there, Carl? Because a lot of times when people get weak,
stop it, Carl.
They start talking quieter. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
They go, I don't want to send out an email. I just don't want. You got to do it. You've got to do it. You've got to increase the frequency of purchase. So what is the action item here?
Stop being a weak.
Send out emails twice per month to your ideal and likely buyers, reminding them of what you do, or send them a text, or call every single lead until they cry, buy, or die. Right. When someone fills out the form saying they're interested, Steve, you've got to call them until they cry, buy, or die. You've got to text them, call them, and email them until they cry, buy, or die. Right. Steve, when someone fills out the form, why do you have to call and text them until they cry, buy, or die?
Because it's weird. Because people will fill out a form on your website and then they won't answer the phone when you call them.
It's normal. It's weird, but it's normal.
Because they get blown up by spam calls all day long. And now they have these new tools like where if someone's not in your phone, that your phone won't even ring. Like they don't even know. So people will say this. They'll be like, well, I called them and they didn't answer.
They didn't even get your call.
When did you call them?
Like
how many times did you call them? Oh, I just called them that once. I'm like, oh,
Right.
okay, well,
Happens
good job.
all the time, folks. You've got to call, text, and email every lead until they cry, buy, or die. Now, action item number 7, increase efficiency. Steve, why have you had to focus on getting better in terms of the efficiency of funding mortgages? When someone reaches out to you now for a mortgage, why have you had to focus week in, week out on getting faster and faster and faster with how quickly you can pre-approve somebody, how quickly you can get them funded? Why do you always focus on how do I make this faster, faster, faster? Why do you have to do that if you want to afford a Lamborghini?
Because I can only talk to so many people in a day, and I can only do so many loans. And if it takes me 30 minutes to do it versus 10, then it's like 3 times as long to do the same task. So one of the things we're focusing on right now is putting into a easy to understand video some of the stuff that I find myself repeating regularly to clients, so that I can increase my amount of time, but also like be able to get the information to the client when they need it. Like, for example, when we send out loan disclosures, everyone has the same questions. Like, everyone does.
Yep.
They all ask the exact same. There's 3 documents.
And we're not mad at them. We're glad they asked the same questions.
There's literally 3 documents. It's the fee worksheet, it's the credit card authorization form,
Yep.
and the appraisal waiver.
There it is.
Or the appraisal receipt waiver form.
Mm-hmm.
They all ask the same question. So I'm like, well, let's make a video that when their documents go out by email for them to sign electronically,
Yep.
we send them this video by text.
There it is.
And they watch it, and then it explains it, because what I end up doing is getting on the phone with every client,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes there's 7 of these going out a day. And I have to get on the phone 7 times.
7 times.
Say the exact same thing, which I'm actually good at, and I don't mind talking to clients, but a lot of people they're busy. They don't want to have to get on the phone with you for 15 minutes when they can watch a 1-minute video.
There it is.
You got to get better, quicker, faster, systematize your process so that you can help more people. And if you're a person who wants to help more people, because I hear people say that all the time, well, I just want to help people. Well, if you're a person who wants to help more people, you have to put those processes in place so that you can serve more clients, because otherwise you're doing the opposite of what you said you wanted to do.
John Maxwell, the New York Times bestselling author and the 2-time Thrive Time show guest who sold over 20 million books, he said, it's quoted here, "The secret of your success is determined by your daily agenda." The secret of your success is determined by your daily agenda.
Yep.
And I would say if you don't have a daily agenda, your mind will be in a blender.
Right.
I see people all the time that don't have a to-do list or a calendar, running around perpetually distracted. You've got to sit down and figure out, how can I increase my sales per hour? How can I shorten my service times? How could I increase the quality of my product and decrease the product delivery times? How could I increase the efficiency of my training for my team? How can I do it better, faster? These are the questions you want to ask. And so now, Travis, you've been shadowing me around today, which is great. You're learning the business coaching systems. You've done a great job on the search engine team, and you got promoted to management, and so now you're in that shadow process. What business coaching questions do you have for me?
The first one probably relates to the 3-legged marketing stool.
Yep.
How do you choose your 3 legs?
Well, what I would say, and again, this might not be super helpful for the client listeners out there, but I will try. You want to determine, step 1, who your ideal and likely buyer is, determine who they are, and then figure out what marketing platform would reach that person.
Yep.
So the best example I could give you would be this. People who are in search of business consulting and business growth tend to search on Google for it.
Yep.
People that are not owners of business tend to spend their entire day on Pinterest.
Yep.
So as a business consultant who only works with real companies and real owners of real companies, it is an epic waste of time for me to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, because the people who are on Facebook and Instagram all day are not business owners.
Yep. True.
But it is a great place for me to advertise for haircuts, because the average consumer is on Facebook and Instagram, and therefore you saw that today. We're getting leads all the time for Elephant in the Room on Facebook and Instagram, but we don't get leads for business consulting on Instagram and Facebook because business owners are not on Instagram and Facebook. So you figure out where your ideal and likely buyers are, and you go there. Another example is the women. Steve, does your wife own some Lululemon yoga pants?
Seems like it.
Does your daughter own Lululemon yoga pants?
Yeah, yeah.
How much are Lululemon yoga pants?
I don't know, but the Lululemon pants I'm wearing are like $120, so they're probably somewhere around there.
Are you wearing Lululemon pants right now?
Every day.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're the 4-way stretch. They look like slacks, but they have pockets like jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably like $128.
So I see the Lululemon high waist vapor leggings are $128. The Lululemon Wonder under high raise legging is $69. But the people that are running around going to Lululemon to buy products and services, is a general rule. And Steve, I'm not calling you out. I'm saying as a general rule, there's not a lot of dudes there.
Yeah, no,
it's mostly women.
Yep.
Are you going there to meet women? You're not. You're a married guy. Have you noticed when you go there, are there women?
This is the reason why you only see women, because when you're a dude, you go in there for a very specific reason, to go get this pair of pants or this socks or whatever, and you leave. When you're a woman, you're like, well, I think I'll go into Lulu and see what I can find. And then they walk around and they look. And
when you've gone in there, I mean, are there ever other guys there usually?
Yeah, there's guys there, but like I'm in and out, dude. I'm like going in.
But as a general rule, it's mostly women.
I actually have a Lululemon gift card in my pocket right now.
Let's talk about this for a second, though. When you do mortgages for Shaw Homes, what percentage of the people driving the purchase,
100%.
What percentage of the people who are looking to buy a new home or to build a new Shaw home are women?
Well, I say sometimes it will be the husband who starts, but it's the woman who's making the decision.
Every time.
Every
time. Shaw Homes is the #1 home builder in Oklahoma.
Yep.
They've already sold $20 million of homes during the first 2 months of this year. And I'm telling you, these guys, they tell you, homes are purchased by women.
Yep.
So, Travis, Facebook is a great place to market because women are on Facebook. Instagram is a great place. But Instagram is a younger demographic.
Yep.
And Facebook is for women who are usually 35 to 45, 50. And that's where the ideal buyers are for Shaw. Most people who buy a Shaw home, because they're homes that are between $250,000 and $400,000. Most of their buyers are women who are between the ages of 35 and 55, and so that's where it's a good place for them to advertise. So, as a newer coach, I make all the paths for all my clients, and so you never have to really worry about that. But for the listeners out there, that's a great question.
A lot of companies will have a thing that they're already doing that is been a good leg of their marketing stool.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is just helping them refine that and then figure out where they are buying ads on Instagram where they don't need to, that they need to get rid of. For us, it was focusing heavy on Google reviews, and because that was one of our legs, was being on Google and having people call us and being able to get them there. But then you kind of develop some of those over time.
Yeah.
And some of them, like we probably have about 6.
Marketing
legs. One of them is the Dream 100.
Well, so we're not confusing anybody, you don't add another leg until one leg is working.
Right.
So you get one leg. So first leg we just focused on was Google reviews. Steve nailed that. And then I said, okay, now let's start getting search engine content.
Yep.
So now we got the search engine content. We're adding that. Now we got reviews. Okay, that's working. Now we'll add the Dream 100. But what happens is if you start all 6 things at one time, you don't get it done. It's like trying to build 6 houses simultaneously.
Yep. And you can only do that if you're Shaw Homes.
There you go. Now, what other questions would you have? Business coaching questions there, Mr. Travis.
How do you identify the low-hanging fruit for the limiting factor once you have the business up and going?
Okay. Whenever we work with a client and we coach them down the proven path, I'm always asking, what is your biggest limiting factor? So let's have fun with Steve today. Steve, you have this project called Lambros.
Yep.
And your goal, and if I'm incorrect, tell me, but I believe your goal is to entertain millions of people while having fun in your Lamborghini. Is that correct? Or is that? Yes. Is that okay? So in order to reach more people, you've got to get more subscribers.
Right.
So his biggest limiting factor is getting more subscribers.
Right.
So to do that, you try to align what is shocking with what aligns with the client's values. Yeah. So you want to do something that's shocking that also aligns with the client's values. And what you love that is shocking is Donald Trump.
Right.
President Trump.
Yep.
So you have now put up an auto wrap out there that really, Steve, is really starting to generate a buzz. I mean, it's crazy the response we're getting online to this thing. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just look it up real quick here. I'm pulling up on Facebook right now. On the side of it, it says Trump 2020, give the wig the gig.
Part 2.
Then it says Trump, Lambro Steve 2020. It's got a picture. What's on the hood of the car on the very front
Trump
of it?
Trump standing on a tank.
Yes.
with the tank on the gun of the tank says you're fired, and he's holding a 50 cal, and he has a gold belt buckle, and there's a flag waving behind it with money floating in the air and an eagle with other guns in the background and a giant explosion. So it's basically like America.
I love
That's
it.
what it is.
I love
It says America.
It's the best thing ever. It's
and
so good.
then it's powered by the tears of liberals, and
It has green arrows that point to the gas tank that says "Powered by the tears of liberals."
and it's got that picture of Trump where he's kind of like sticking his tongue out because he's like chuckling.
And on the
as he's
back
giving
of
you
the
thumbs
vehicle,
up.
it says that this vehicle is powered by
coal, big oil,
and
the tears of liberals.
So, I mean, the car is a shocking thing, but honestly, in order to get more traffic for your YouTube channel, you've got to put something out there that is both shocking and that aligns with your values.
Yeah.
And the only way to receive universal praise is to say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. According to Aristotle, the only way to say nothing, the only way to receive universal praise and to avoid any type of criticism, according to Aristotle, is to say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. And so that's your biggest limiting factor. But for your total ending concepts, can you please explain what your biggest limiting factor is right now as it relates to growing the Tulsa market?
I would say probably talent, like hiring competent people that can learn the process.
Finding good people.
Yeah.
So
we don't really have a lack of deals coming in. We just have a lack of good people to handle them.
Is this helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but then I think about other clients we have. Let's think about elephant in the room. What's our biggest limiting factor right now for my own company? I'm just looking for franchisees that are mentally durable, financially sustainable. Because I don't want to sell a franchise to somebody who is not mentally stable. Because what would happen, Steve, if I sold a franchise to somebody who goes up and down, up and down? What would happen?
After 2 months of not making money, they would be mad and wanting to know why it's not taking off.
And as a franchise, we only make 6% of your gross revenue. We only make a percentage of your total revenue. So if you're not making any revenue, we're not going to make it happen, So, I mean, it's that we just don't deal with people that are up and down, up and down. Very important for the listeners out there to get that idea. I'm just going to go through my client roster right now, and I'll read off the biggest limiting factors for each client, and maybe this is helpful if I give you a lot of them. So let's just go through. Let's go to Monday. I'm going to go to the Monday calendar. The biggest limiting factor for Complete Carpet right now is being able to get more vans to be able to keep up with all of the orders. They're getting more orders than they have vans and people, so it's recruiting more people and getting more cleaning vans. For Justice Tumbling, they're almost out of space. So when they get out of space, the biggest limiting factor will be having a bigger gym if they want to do that. So that's the thing. For Tip Top Canine, it's just finding mentally sustainable and consistent people to buy a Tip Top Canine franchises. Because the business model works. Tulsa's perpetually booked out. A lot of their markets are doing really well, and so it's just finding more people that would like to buy franchises. Josh with Spurl CPAs up there in Canada, one of my clients, his biggest limiting factor right now is just he's personally booked out all the time. So now he's doing conferences as a way to educate and help more people. But does that make sense? Like each client has their own biggest limiting factor, and I make the business plans for all the clients. So I will hop on the phone call, and I will tell you that starting out the relationship so you'll know. And if you ever get stuck, you can ask me. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions today about anything you saw today, questions you have about clients, leading clients down the path that would be helpful for you as you prepare to coach clients down the path?
I think the main one that I would have is a lot of your clients are already up and running, and they've
achieved their goals.
They've achieved their goals.
Yeah.
Where do you start when you're trying to get somebody from going from working in the business to actually getting to work on the business? Where do you start? You
start by making that calendar, that weekly calendar, and you block out an hour every day to plan your day. Every day. That's the meta time. 2, you block out the time every week for the all-staff meeting. 3, you block out time every week for the accounting meeting. Step 4, you block out time every week for the group interview. And 5, you block out time for the sales training meeting. So again, 1, you block out an hour a day for the meta time. 2, you block out the time for the weekly staff meeting. 3, you block out time for the accounting financing. meeting. 4, you block out time for the group interview. And 5, you block out time for the sales training meeting. And that's how you do it. You just put it in the calendar. And then you teach them what to do. And when they get to that time in their calendar, you teach them what to do during that time. Is that helpful? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's huge.
All right. Well, if you're out there today and you feel stuck in a rut, don't be. And as we wrap up today's show, I'm going to play a few audio testimonials for you from real clients out there just like you who've experienced massive success as a result of diligently implementing the proven plan. So again, if you feel stuck out there in any way at all, I'm going to put on the show notes for you. I'm going to queue up audio of real clients out there just like you who've experienced massive success this year. And that way, you too can join in the conversation of thriving. And if you want to book a ticket to a conference, now would be the time. If you want to book a ticket, you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you click on the conferences button. Boom, you can buy a ticket. If you don't want to pay full price, and maybe you don't, just leave an objective review about what you're learning on the Thrive Time Show on our Google map or on iTunes or on Spotify, and then take a screenshot of the review and then send it to us to info@thrivetimeshow.com, and you can attend for just $37. And so now without any further ado, let's get into a few audio testimonials from real thrivers out there just like you.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I've found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
Hey, this is Charles and Amber Koloff. We're the owners of Koloff Fitness, and
we really want to be with you at the Thrive Conference this weekend. It's one of our favorite things to do, but we're gone on a cruise last minute for this big guy's birthday. And the way we're able to do that is working with Clay for the last 3 years. He has really readjusted our thinking and taught us that our business is here to serve us. And by doing that, we're able to live the lifestyle we want and take off on a random vacation last minute. So we had totally planned on being at the conference. So wish we could be there and meet all of you. We know you're having a great time. So
yes, Clay in the last 3 years has helped us build all the necessary systems, checklists, workflows, task lists, time blocks, audits that are always running, and the right capable lieutenants to keep track of all that so that you too can get time freedom and financial freedom. And that's what we have done, and Clay has helped us do. We've got multiple companies in multiple states, and they're all doing very well, getting ready to go 2 more locations in this next year. And Koloff Fitness has a really big future. We're teaming up with a couple other groups, and we should scale the company here shortly. Hopefully we'll open like 50 locations in the next 10 years. So, but yeah, we're on the way. We're gonna probably more than double our company, maybe triple our company in the next 8 to 9 months. And it's just awesome. God is working in our business, and we're making Jesus and changing lives. We're a strong Christian company that focuses on making Jesus famous and changing lives in the fitness field. And this is Charles and Amber Koloff. Thank you, Thrive. Hit your action items. We love you guys. Yeah. We wish we were there. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
My name is Elizabeth Walker. I'm the owner of Nook and Cranny Homekeeping. I first heard about Clay on the radio on 1170 KFAQ. I was just switching through the radio stations, and I heard them talking, and they were kind of funny, so I hung around a little bit. Clay's team has impacted my amount of internet leads through Google. We have skyrocketed our reviews, and we just have people calling us almost every single day saying they found us on Google. So it's definitely broadened our horizons and our clientele, but we also have people that find us in other avenues, and I always direct them to our Google reviews. The typical interaction during our weekly meetings is fun, it is accountability, it's an hour of hard discussions and a lot of learning. We try to laugh. I always share concerns I had during the week. The team always asks me what I need help with, and then they help put me back on track where I need to be. Every business owner needs Clay Clark and his team because they put a path out in front of you, a proven system of success, and then they coach you along the way. They don't do it for you. They don't hold your hand. They just stand right beside you. They cheer you on. They share with you what you need to hear, whether it's good or it's bad or it's what you want to hear or it's what you don't want to hear. Every business owner needs that accountability next to them, that proven person next to them that can keep them going. Most people think that they don't need a business or marketing consultant because human nature tends to say we can do it all. And sometimes we believe that, or maybe people are prideful and they don't want to ask for help, or I'm not really sure. I believe that one of the smartest things I've ever done in my whole life, definitely in my business, is hiring Clay Clark and his team. Somebody is missing out on years and years and years of experience if they don't hire them. You can either make mistakes in your business because you don't have the experience, so you just go out there and you make mistakes. Or you can have somebody next to you that has been there, they've done that, and they can give you a heads up, you're going in the wrong direction. Or they can give you just that wise advice that says, maybe you should go in this direction. That's what they're missing out on. They're missing out on years of experience that they have not gleaned themselves.
Hi, my name is Tim Johnson. I'm the owner of Tuscaloosa Ophthalmology as well as Southern Eye Consultants, two ophthalmology practices in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I'm a client of Clay Clark. I am a big fan of business podcasts, and his podcast popped up as a recommended listening, so I started listening to the podcast. I was a little suspicious or skeptical because I thought there was going to be like an upcharge or an upsell. But the idea of the month-to-month canceling really appealed to me. And I kept waiting for the shoe to drop and for the upsell or for the scam to come in, but it never did. It's very legitimate. Since working with Clay, I've gotten a much firmer grasp on how business works. Even in medicine, business is business. I've learned a lot about marketing, especially how Google reviews work and how important that is. And that's very important even in medicine. At least once a week, if not every day, I get a new patient because somebody Googled eye doctor in Tuscaloosa or ophthalmologist in Tuscaloosa. And you'd be amazed how many patients just look for an eye doctor that way. And so he's really changed our business. Our business has grown a lot, 15 to 20% this year.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months. And it took us about 6 months, 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google. And with their help with the website and marketing and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google. And it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love the building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things, the processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time. Developing an online system, and a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that, his stuff is not revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff. And like group interviews, we were totally against group interviews. We were like, no, we're different and we're special, and we need to do one-on-one interviews so we can find good quality candidates and not just kind of do this group interview thing. And we tried that and we failed miserably. We did group interviews. Now we do them every 2 weeks, and it's awesome. It works good. We always have kind of an influx of new people that we can train, get going. He's helped us a lot with our website, graphic design, SEO. SEO is another thing that I thought before I started this business and before Clay that it was kind of a joke, or something that only your Apples of the world and Amazon could get to the top of Google. But Clay said, no, just do these things, follow these steps, and you'll get there. And I think now we look today and we're number 2 for Dallas real estate photography. If you don't believe me, you can look. So we're getting to the top of there. That's really cool. It's really awesome to get leads that people will call you and say, hey, I found you on Google. We want to hear about your services. So that's really great. I'd say there's nobody out there that's not a good coaching client for Clay. Anyone, regardless of the business, it's not about what the business is, what the specialty is. It's about following the steps, doing what he says. It's a good thing. An hour a week, it gets you on track and keeps you kind of in line of what you're doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And it's good to kind of give you some flow and future goals of your business. And I remember our first meeting, we set our goals, and our goal was to do 16 shoots a week. And at the time, me and my business partner / girlfriend Gretchen were like, oh, we're never going to do 16 a week. That's just like crazy. And today we're doing 9, and we did about 54 last week. So he's helped us grow. We've put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work as well, but if you follow his steps and do what he says, there's a lot of principles that he's kind of taught and instilled in us that help us. So Clay Clark is the way to go. I wouldn't venture out to find someone else. They'd be more expensive and a lot more fluff and no real actionable work and things to get your business growing. So that's the way to go. Thanks.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the daily you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave of knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those who doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through like a running back. Force the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom, overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
This moment is profound cause you're above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how, but you gotta be resourceful with that old plow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up, cause by 4 a.m. I've always been prayed up. Rise and grind as your time, don't dare let up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day.
Somebody say.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storms get rough and they scatter and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, He's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned,
Sing it.
increase what you've earned,
Yes.
in due time you got money to
With this miracle, I look to shout down the doubters, kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers, empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day.
Today's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
Sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day.
It's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
Today is your day.
Come on.
And now is your time.
Sing it, Martin.
Today is your day. Now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis, and that simplicity brings power with it. So it shocked me how simple some of the stuff is, and at times I'm like, why didn't I think about that? Workflow creation, systematic marketing, and coaching has helped our church so much. You know, the workflow creation is what it really is they're going to look and see every moving part of your church, of your ministry, what needs to be done. And it's going to go up on a massive board. And so now what it does is it takes what you know needs to be done out of your heart and out of your head, really takes the pressure, the stress off your shoulders, and it puts it on the board where your entire team, your ministry can see exactly what you want them to do every day. And so they know this is the playbook, this is what we're doing. And then there's laser sharp accountability with a meeting afterwards, did it get done or not? I'll tell you, it's changed the way we execute as a church so fast. And it's produced really an excitement because people they want to get done. If they know what they're supposed to do, a good person wants to get it done. It's been massive for our team. The systematic marketing has really been like this. In the past, we used to market and we would try something. I've done everything, billboards, ads, mailers, internet, Facebook, but we would run something for so long and then we wouldn't see that it was producing the results we want. Instead of staying consistent, we would jump to another horse. Then we would jump to another horse. And what systematic marketing does is it makes you pick some things and stick with it. And I'm already seeing, just after just a few months, I've been working with Clay since October, about 6 months ago. I can already see just the trajectory going up. People are finding out about us. Our number of visitors are going up. I can see the marketing working. And it's just an approach that makes sense. And then the coaching is massive. And I think having a coach that looks and sees what you're doing and can come help you make small adjustments. I believe those small tweaks, once he gets everything set up, those small tweaks can make massive differences. And a great coach doesn't even have to play your sport, right? Doesn't even have to do what you do. A coach has an eye to see things that you can't see, or to see it from a different angle. And just having that extra eye on what I do, and just, hey, have you thought about this? It's making all the difference in the world. What Clay Clark and his team can provide for your church that you can't do in-house and I can't do in-house. Well, what's been massive for me is that search engine optimization, how to get to the top of Google, taking care of transcribing all of my sermons to drive me up the list on Google, stuff that I don't think about and I don't have time to do. I've got all these things I have to do as a pastor, right? I have sermons to preach. I have a staff to manage. I have a budget to take care of. I got sick folk to see about. I have a team that has to do that. You know how it is. You got to marry people. You got to bury people. We're never going to stay in a dark room with a keyboard optimizing our Google presence. And these guys do that kind of thing for you. Also, if you're at a couple hundred member church, I remember how hard it was back in the day to take care of the website needs, to come up with graphic design. And these guys are available to you for sermon slides, getting that kind of stuff done where you can have a sharp-looking presentation of the gospel. And it takes it off you, it puts it on them at a very reasonable price. I really believe Clay Clark and his team can help a church with limited resources in a big way. I know what it's like to be a church of limited resources. My wife and I, we walked into a town where we didn't know anybody. We had a Bible and we just had a few bucks in our pocket. And somebody introduced us to a couple of families. We started going there. So I know what it's like to be a church of 2, and I know what it's like to be a church of 2,000 in 2 different campuses now, 1,000 apiece, and everywhere in between. So I love churches at every level. I believe God wants them all to grow. And I think about the needs I had back in the day, the lack of direction I had. Man, I was working 80 hours a week all the time. But a lot of times I was a shotgun instead of a rifle. I think when you start, you can really hone in with the right coaching. You can get a lot of your different needs met in one place. Instead of having somebody on marketing and somebody on showing you how to do systems and somebody on graphic design, Thrive can do a lot of that for you at a very reasonable cost. I think it's a great place to invest in the life of your ministry. I'm telling you, I think you can get the results you want with the coaching here faster than any other way. It's going to be powerful.
My name is Joe Lai, and I'm with Kirkpatrick & Lai Orthodontics. At Kirkpatrick & Lai Orthodontics, we create beautiful smiles by straightening kids' teeth and adults' teeth. The services that Clay and his team provide would be something like how to get more customers into my business and get the message out that I'm the best orthodontist in Tulsa. He does that by social media. We get the word out through videos and pictures, and being just top mind awareness, as he would always say. Also, how to reach out and create that bond with my referring doctors. He helped me kind of get somebody in-house to go out and meet doctors and help me kind of continue building that relationship while I do the work. Website. The website's so majorly important. We get several patients through our website. And what he's doing is there's a certain way that you want your website to look and certain content because you want call to action items in your website, and we didn't have that before. So now we get 7 or 8 new patients just through the website alone. Clay and his team are, I would just say they're over the top. I mean, nothing is too big, nothing's too grand for Clay and his staff and his team. I mean, he says boom, he really means it. I mean, they over deliver, really, to be honest with you. And they come up with ideas that are just top notch. And if you don't like something, great, move on. He'll figure out something that works for your style and your identity. But I would just say the biggest thing for Clay and his team is they over-deliver. Clay and his team help kind of create that culture also for your business that, hey, we got to get things done in a timely manner. It holds me accountable to do the certain tasks so that we can create things in a timely manner. So there is a sense of urgency that he creates, and it's a lot of it's just through his enthusiasm. He's always on the go, so it kind of puts you on that same mindset of, hey, let's get this done. Let's work hard, but let's also have fun with it. When I went to orthodontic school, we got zero training on marketing. Actually, when I got out of school 18 years ago, it was kind of taboo to actually do any marketing. The most you could do is put your name in the Yellow Pages. And so now it's pretty common knowledge and pretty mainstream to go ahead and get your name out there, tell everybody your story, who you are, what you're about. If you don't do that, it's a leg of your business that you're lagging behind. Because you could be the best orthodontist or the best whatever, but if people don't know that, then you won't get the customers coming in. I meet with Clay and his team on every Friday about 11 o'clock, and to be honest with you, at the beginning I wasn't that thrilled with it. Coming in every week just kind of seemed like a lot, but for me, I find the marketing aspect interesting. I enjoy it. I love working with Clay. I think it's mainly the reason why. I've kind of built a relationship with him. I think it got to a level now where we're pretty good friends. And so to me, it's enjoyable. I really enjoy the creativity and how when you put the energy into it and the work into it, how you get everything kind of comes back and it works. I've worked with Clay and his team for about, I think it's about 3 years, and every year it's just gotten better and things have grown more every year. I've been trying to get my wife and her pediatric dentist office and our partners on board with Clay for a while. I just saw that they were kind of getting stagnant in their practice, and times were kind of getting slow for them, and they needed more referrals. And I knew that Clay could definitely help them out by even just one thing, which would be change your website. And just by doing that, you're going to get patients very easily. But another thing too is that they needed to change their culture and their mindset of how to bring in patients and creating a brand as well for them, and giving them more of an identity so the whole staff could kind of rally around them. For anybody that's coming out of school or just starting new with a business of any sort, be it medical or anything of that nature, I highly recommend Clay helping you create that business model. We're trained to do what we're trained to do, but we're not trained to do the business aspect or the marketing or how to deal with the patient or our staff. So Clay can pretty much do all that, but what I like the most about Clay and his staff is that everything's in-house. I don't have to go to one place to do my website. I don't have to go somewhere to do my videos. I don't have to go another place to shoot photographs, somewhere else to do web content or team coaching or entrepreneurship. Clay pretty much is the total package. He's really a great mentor. So if you're new and starting a business and you want to avoid all the pitfalls, I would definitely hook up with Clay and his team. If someone's not using Clay and his team to help build their business, they're missing out on a lot. There's so many details and so many aspects of creating a business that Clay really makes it simple, makes it fun, and you learn so much in a short amount of time that I think he's the best entrepreneur, business coach, marketer, you name it. The guy's and his team's got it all going on.
My name is Joe Doran. I'm from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I heard about the conference through Aaron Antis and Roy. I own Glassworks Auto Glass, and I was looking to see how I can improve my business. I would describe the atmosphere here as fun and upbeat, and a way to learn a lot of knowledge. The delivery and presentation style has been fun, engaging, where you're able to pay attention and learn. The most valuable thing that I've learned so far is how to implement and bring change into the culture of my business.
Could you share the name of your company, a little bit more about what you guys do at Living Water Irrigation, where the name comes from?
Absolutely, positively. So Living Water Irrigation, the most important part of that to me is John 7:38. So it's mentioned in the gospel a number of times, we're the living water, but our specific scripture that we drew our name from is John 7:38. It says, whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow through him. We have a very distinct vision as a company on who we are and what we want to do. And I believe that I was put here to go make some money to give it away.
How long has this particular business been around?
We've been around just 2 years, sir.
2 years. And you guys, we first met. How did we first meet?
So it would have been October or November of 17.
October or November of 17.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of your growth as a company, how much have you grown this year?
So this year we're up 450% year over year.
So now that you're implementing this program, you're getting more calls, right? Are you getting more calls?
Absolutely.
Sales are going up. You're gathering reviews from your real customers, adding content to the website, adding a gallery of work.
So I'm going to actually take a minute and make you really uncomfortable, Clay.
Nice. I don't think I want this to happen.
So, because I know how humble you are, and I know you don't want to hear this kind of stuff.
It's only my paleness that keeps me humble.
So when we started with y'all, it was awesome. We had a little company, just me and one dude and one little van.
Yeah.
And 17 was great. I ate more than ramen noodles, but not much more.
Right.
18 was really good. We started to implement the systems, got the boom book, went to a couple conferences, and said, okay, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to sell out. We went to the coaching, got coached by Marshall and Victoria, and started to implement, as opposed to just listen, to actually be doers. It's in James. It says don't just be hearers of the word, but be doers as well. And so we implemented scripts, we implemented systems, we implemented checklists, we implemented a pro forma for quoting, and all these things that you talk about.
Yeah.
And so just as a real person, and I'm real, I promise you, there's a bunch of Josh Wilsons out there.
Yeah.
Like I'm a famous baseball player and football player.
Oh, wow.
And a gospel singer.
Oh, wow.
But this Josh Wilson just digs ditches for a living. But I just want to say thank you. Standing here for all the systems. I encourage everybody out there, go pick up Start Here. Go pick up the boom book. The stuff you hear on this show, it actually sincerely works. It's not just some nonsensical guy sitting in an awesome man cave who's bored so he wants to record a show. And then from there, here's another super duper move for you. Schedule your day.
Oh, wait a second. That right there is a hot tip.
Holy cow!
Schedule your day.
So I was listening just a few months ago, and I was running all over the Tulsa metro area, from Glenpool to Owasso to Broken Arrow, back to Owasso, to Jinx, to Midtown. And I'm like, man, why am I getting nothing done?
Why am I getting nothing done?
Well, your issue is that you're running these places. You got to drive.
Why am I talking using a megaphone? Back to you.
Well, obviously, I wouldn't have this belly if I was running, Jonathan.
Okay.
So my wife says to me, hey, how was your day, honey? Oh, I worked all day. I did all these things. And I'm like, wait, I have nothing to show that I did anything. So super move number one, you've said it 17,000 times.
Yeah.
Whatever gets scheduled gets done. So now my day is scheduled.
Come on now.
So if it's not on my schedule, nope, doesn't happen.
Listen here. Here's a little secret. You can become successful. You have the tools needed to start and grow a successful company. But you've got to implement the best practice systems. You have to implement the proven systems, checklists, and processes that have been shown to work time and time again. Frick! What time is it? Where are my pants? Just turn. Oh, yes, it's time to rise and grind. Oh, yes, before the rooster crows. Oh, yes, it's time to rise and grind. Oh, yes. I wake up at 3 to get it all done. Got money on my mind and my wife's number one. Countercultural cause I am a Christian. In it for the long game or nothing. Get rich quick, nah, I don't do it. But if you got a real goal, I'll help you pursue it. Like Robbie Schneider, I'll be saying you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Have to seize the day at Carpe Diem, son. If you ever want to make them Benjamins. Success requires self-discipline. 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 I just said it 3 times in a row. Cause if you're looking for a real hero, you gotta look into me and my bro. Will you be a victim or a victor? I think we're missing it all. How bizarre. The resources you need aren't very far. You gotta get 3 jobs like I once did. Target, Applebee's, and DirecTV. Which meant I never watched TV. Cause I was on my grind like a 2-3. Or like that 12 to the TB. Do you feel, man? Like a petting zoo. Stick to your goals like glue. Like 80 hours per week pursue. And I am so to the serious. Because I ain't smoking delirious. I'm aware of cause and effect. And I know that your life could be wrecked. Or your life could be good and great. So what will you do today? Will you fill the schedule with nothingness? Or the middle with somethingness? While you're waiting for Santa and an elf, this just in, you could be helping yourself. Say no to the handouts, cause they hurt your pride. When you could be out working the other guy. What? When you could be out working the other guy. Who? When you could be out working the other guy. Yes. Oh yes. It's time to rise and grind. Oh yes. Before the rooster crows. Oh yes. It's time to rise and grind. Oh yes. Everybody singing now. Oh yes. Oh yes. It's time to rise and grind. Oh yes. Before the rooster crows. Oh yes. It's time to rise and grind. Oh yes. Verse 2 is short and life is 2. We better get started cause there's no redo. 38, ain't it great? I'm half dead, dude. I'm half dead, dude. Well, hell's bells. I'm gonna go take a nap. And now, without any further ado, it's time to end the show with a boom. So here we go. But before we do it, I'm asking you, are you going to take some action? Because knowledge without application is meaningless. I repeat, knowledge without application is meaningless. To quote Thomas Edison, vision without execution is hallucination. Again, vision without execution is hallucination. So we end with a boom. Boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. And you have to first change what you think. Check. Now you got to change your actions. Right. Then you will change the results you see. You change the mindset. Great. I'm glad you had that epiphany earlier today. I'm so glad you had an epiphany. But now you must change your action steps. Otherwise, this is a waste of time. And if that is the case, go watch Fox News. Go watch CNN. Get off this channel. If you're not wanting to change your life, quit listening to this show. If you want to change your life, listen to this show. Be a doer of these words, not just a hearer. And if you are a doer and you're ready to take your life to the next level, then and only then, let's end this show with a boom. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.